Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Hobby Craftsman Podcast. I'm with my good buddy
Chris
and my other good pal
Edward.
And we're back with another episode here at the Divided Vine.
Another episode of the Divided Vine?
You know, you're right. My
first
bad.
Episode?
That's depends on this defined episode.
We've been here before, I guess, right? So
exactly. But no, we're here for a live on location episode at Divided Vine Beer and Wine Bar.
they're having a Pure Project Tap Takeover, which I was excited about. So,
dude, couldn't miss this one.
Not in my neighborhood. So something that get me to drive past Trevor's, that would be it.
It's true.
You know,
if anything is going to get me to drive 25 minutes past Trevor's, it's this.
Pure Project Takeover.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, so by the time you listen to this, all these beers will probably be gone.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. They're going to tap them probably pretty fast, but they had big kegs. Like, they got some serious full-size kegs to this end. They don't got any ponies back there.
But if you don't follow us or them on Instagram,
you're going to have a bad time.
More than enough warning to come down here and have
That's
Pure
true.
Project.
Our followers knew.
Yeah,
because the guys over here at Divided Vine killed it and actually put us on a freaking poster. That was awesome.
Yeah, I need to get one of those before we
I know.
leave.
That was sweet. That was awesome.
I got to put that in the studio.
So even though you might not get it on draft, we've been getting it's funny now. We've been getting the Pure Project newsletter in our email forever, and the last couple of years it's just been you just kind of look at it and be like, oh, I wish we could get those.
Yeah, I
beers.
wish we were in California.
Wish we can go to California, and now it's like, hey,
here's a ton.
We might actually get some of those cans.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be able to still get some.
Yeah,
maybe not in the can. Or
that's
the cake,
true.
But.
No, that's true because thanks to these guys, there is a steady flow of this stuff, and we're going to talk to Mike, the brewer at Pure, a brewer at Pure.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And,
we're going to do the show a little differently this time around. Mm-hmm. Instead of having one big clusterfuck of an interview.
Yeah, we'll break it up.
Break it up.
We're going to have 3 clusterfucks.
Yeah, we're going to have 3 shit shows.
That's going to be fine.
And we're going to try to keep it to 25-minute segment, boys.
Try.
We're going to try.
Or 30, and that because 20 questions. I mean, are we doing multiple rapid rounds today?
Yes.
We have to.
Ooh, it gives me goosebumps.
So get ready for it.
I'm excited.
It's going to be 27
Let's go.
minutes because we're going to hear Nate's answers 3 times in a row.
I'm excited. I'll have a new one every time.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's get the first person. We'll go back.
Yeah, we need to get new beers.
Agreed.
And start from scratch, and we'll bring on our first guest.
Let's go. All right, guys, we're back. We all have beers and a special guest. Hello, sir, owner of the Divided Vine Beer and Wine Bar. Introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. My name is Jeff Attaway. I'm one of the owners here at Divided Vine Beer and Wine Bar with my partner, Clayton Steffen.
Right, nice.
Yeah. Been open since 2017. We just passed our 5-year anniversary this past October. So, yeah.
Thanks for being
going
here,
strong.
Jeff.
Oh, thanks for coming out.
Yeah,
we appreciate you guys.
us, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is awesome.
A ragtag group like us, man.
You guys fit in perfect.
Yeah. Listen, we're all big guys with beards. We're probably like, it's a normal crowd.
Yeah.
You're not the normal crowds.
No, thank you, Jeff.
I'm glad
Appreciate
I cut
it.
mine out yesterday. I was trying to look good.
I know, right?
Even though we're not on TV.
There's a reason for that.
Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having us down here, Jeff. We
For
really
sure.
appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
On
Absolutely.
a special day too, on an awesome keg tapping day. We're from Pure here.
Yeah. So one of our favorite breweries out of San Diego, Pure Project. I'm going to start doing this once a year. I think we're going to call it Pure in the Desert.
Nice.
And every year we're gonna put on between 10 and 15 taps. Tonight we got 11 taps. Their specialties are their murky IPAs or hazy IPAs, and then we got a Pilsner, a pub ale.
That Pilsner's good.
Yeah, that's what I'm drinking.
That
The Pilsner's
Rain.
really good. Yep. But they definitely specialize in their IPAs. So
Nice.
yeah, we love Pure Project. They've been we've had them on tap here since probably about 4 years now.
Well, thanks for bringing them down because these are some good fresh kegs.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
We are drinking beers.
Yeah, we are. That
Jeff,
reminds
what are
me.
you drinking?
I'm drinking the Rain Pilsner. It's a German style Pilsner from those guys.
And it's good.
Yeah, it is.
It's
very true to the style, for sure.
I have a double murky. I don't remember the name, but it's a double murky.
Do you remember what number?
26.
Jeff, do you know what number?
Oh, that
26
is Diamond Dust.
No, that is. Okay, this is 30. Damn, he's good though because
I got 26
he's not
already.
wrong. He's not wrong. So this is a 30. It's the double murky. It's like no elements or something like that.
Oh shit!
Way to
Got
put
you
him.
now.
Yeah,
Jeff.
you got me.
Gotcha now.
I can't remember all these beers.
I was gonna say, I would have been impressed if I was impressed alone when you pulled Chris's right out immediately for 26.
Oddly enough, I didn't get number 26. I got number 30 because you said it was good.
Oh yeah.
But
Do you remember the name?
No, I didn't look at the
God
name.
damn it.
I just said give me number 30 is what I said.
It is good.
We're really good like that. Ed,
Yeah.
Waking Moments.
There it is.
Waking Moments.
Waking
double
Moments.
murky IPA. Yeah.
Elements.
Yeah.
So far off.
Yeah.
Super good.
You got Ed.
So fresh.
Probably whatever you got me.
That's the Diamond
Because
Dust.
as per the contract in the show, I do all the setup and you have to get me beer. So
I mean, that's not true. But all right.
I watch and Chris shows up on time / late.
I love how you guys drink and work.
It's a very
awesome.
good. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no-
awesome.
it makes these two tolerable.
There's no other way to really get to know a venue and a brewery than to enjoy it, at it and with it.
Enjoy their fruits.
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
my question was stupid when I sat down. Is it better to have a beer while I'm doing this?
It's always
It's
better.
absolutely preferred.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we get into our first segment, to go back, how many taps do you guys have here at Divided Line?
Yeah, how many taps? And then we have a whole other wall to discuss.
So we have 36 taps.
Yep. And that's
36
draft.
36 draft taps. 2 are cider. 1 is a seltzer. And then on the other side, same thing, 36 wines.
Wines and meads, right?
Yeah, wines and meads. Yeah.
You are
That's our
spoiled
concept.
for choice.
Yeah.
Spoiled for choice.
Yeah. Yep. So that's we've had 36 taps since we added one a couple of years after we opened, but yeah, we're set at 36.
Yeah.
Yeah, going forward, that's enough.
That's a number.
It has to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still true that one tap is always the same? Is it still the cream ale?
Yeah, so Cali Creamin' and from Mother Earth out in Vista, California, and local cider Superstition Spaceship Box are the only 2 permanent handles that we have that never change.
Nice.
So yeah, everything else rotates one keg after another. So,
Cool.
yeah.
So
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, definitely. That's the way to keep things fresh. Our customers now have come to, when they walk in, they're spoiled now. They're all, I already had that one a week ago. How come it hasn't changed?
Yeah.
Everybody wants variety, and that's how the craft beer industry is. You guys know.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
Everybody wants different stuff, and so do I. So
No, I was gonna say, every time I go and get like to go beer somewhere, it's always like a mixed 6-pack at this point. So
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
always just so many I want to try. But the problem with that is that when I do find one that I love, I was like, I should have bought a 4-pack of this.
Yeah.
You get so bummed. You're like,
Yeah.
And you go back and then it's gone, and you're like, well, that's what I get for buying mixed 6-packs.
yeah,
But
I mean, and you guys know this too. A lot of people they don't drink the same beer twice. Very, very rarely.
Yeah.
Right.
We have a few
actually
people
am
that
not.
stick to it, but
I'm terrible
people
at
try
that.
stuff, different stuff. I mean, so
Yeah. I drink the same shit every day.
I do too. There's a couple of
I do
beers that
that.
I can do 4 in a row.
I go to Ren and I buy Big Spill pills by the case.
Oh yeah,
you can't go wrong there.
Yeah, I can't.
Can't go wrong there.
Yeah, Mike's here from from
Mike
up
just
here,
showed up,
and
yeah,
we'll
from Beer
talk
Project.
to him in a few minutes. So
yep. He's a great guy to talk about craft beer with. He's
excited.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So Ed, you got the questions ready?
Yeah, I do. So what we do with people who come on the show for the first time is we do what's called a rapid round. So we ask you several questions that don't end up being rapid, but your goal is to answer them rapidly.
It's the slowest rapid round.
Yeah.
I've ever been involved in.
That's
Okay.
the joke.
Sometimes it takes like an hour. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's fine.
But
And
you've got 20 minutes, so don't worry about that.
Should be plenty of time, right?
Yeah.
So the first question is the most podcastiest question ever podcasted is, what is the craft beer that got you into craft beer and eventually opening up your own place?
The craft beer that got me going is Sam Adams Lager.
Nice.
I'm from San Clemente, California, and I used to work at a bar, the Fisherman's on the pier. And our local hangout was the Tropicana right across the street from there. And all the employees would go over there and hang after we got off. And one day they had Sam Adams on tap, and I started drinking it, and I didn't like it at first, and then kind of kept going with it. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
tasty.
This is coming from me drinking Coors Light.
Right. Yeah.
And so it was awesome. And Pizza Port, too. I got to throw Pizza Port in
Yes.
there, too. Being from Southern California, obviously Pizza Port's huge in that area. And then once I kind of got rolling drinking craft beer, Pizza Port was definitely my go-to.
I miss the Mongo whenever it comes up.
Yeah, Mongo and
Yeah.
Swami's,
Swami's.
Yeah.
Swami's. Every time I see that, I'm like, yeah, we're getting some of
That coffee stout they had. It's ridiculous. That breakfast stout.
Oh, the bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs.
Dude,
yeah.
that is
Outta here.
It's so and like, well, this year was
Pizza
a
Port's
4-pack. The last couple of years it was a 6-pack, and the
Yes.
price point for it was phenomenal for a 6-pack of
Yeah.
These are tall
cans.
boys.
And they're,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
awesome.
Pizza Port always does a 16-ounce 6-pack.
Yeah.
Which I
they do.
love.
Yeah. So, they're
Yeah.
Pizza Port's great.
Yeah.
One of my
there's-
faves.
Good call.
Was
Yeah.
it-
That's
was
a good
it-
one.
Was it Pizza Port that made older viscosity?
Or that might have been Port.
That's
Oh, there it was. It was
Portburn.
Port. There you go.
I'm not sure
That's
how it-
why that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I'm not sure how the port and pizza port.
Right.
I know it
think
is.
they're under the same umbrella somehow, some way, but not quite sure how that works.
Just old school thing that we used to like. I saw a bomber of that. Would be like, grab some of that.
Yeah.
And actually, I've seen it in shops again. They make it a little smaller, a little. I'm like,
Nice.
oh, all right, it's coming back.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
All right,
right.
that was pretty quick.
On the opposite end of that, do you have a moped beer or a beer that is your guilty pleasure?
You know what? I got to admit, 99.9% of the beer I drink is IPAs, and then I'll veer off into lagers and pilsners.
Yes, sir.
But
Speaking of the
yes.
yeah, yeah. Not really. No. I mean, I'm always drinking IPAs for crying
Yeah,
out
well,
loud.
I like it.
you shouldn't be ashamed of drinking those. It's fine.
I'm hooked on them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am.
Yeah. Listen, we have a show called Hoppy Craftsman. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we know.
We agree.
Yeah.
We're trying to get another show going called the Hoppy Lager Boys, but Chris won't buy into it.
I'm not into that one. I'm all right. I'll be on it. I'll be a guest on it. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I like pilsners too. I mean, pilsners obviously I'm drinking a pilsner right now, but yeah, it's another go-to. I like the
at me
taste.
like
I like the
I
taste of
took
sours. I do, but it's just heartburn central. For me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. I know. You look at a sour, like, that looks good.
They taste good.
I don't know if it's worth it.
that's why you mix it with a stout, and then you get a little best of both worlds.
Yeah, definitely. I like stouts too. Stouts
No,
work.
he
I make
really
sours and
wants
stouts
it in the
together.
same glass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he wants it in the same glass. A sour stout.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really good.
Yeah.
He said
They make them.
He said disgusting.
I
wrong.
usually buy.
Yeah,
I make my own too.
Clayton's really good at mixing
See?
different stuff together. He's when
See?
he
Yeah, that's true. I feel like Clayton would be
Have-
all over that.
Yeah.
Actually,
A lot
when
of-
we chat with him, we'll have to.
a lot of people will do the spaceship box blueberry cider with the Cali cream and mix that together.
all right.
Yeah.
Alright.
We got to come up with a name for it. So we're working on that.
Nice.
I mean, anything creamin's gonna be.
Yeah, we
All
just
right.
call it
Yeah, there's a whole piece
That's a
of
different
Let's
show.
just leave that there.
That's a different show. That's a different show. Let's keep going.
what is happening.
What else you got?
Yeah, cream and box, just stay away from any combination of those two things.
All right.
So the next question is, this might
Spaceship
be
cream,
another
dude.
an answer you might have already answered. Is there a beer you would refuse under any circumstance? Or will you drink anything?
Like
Or
if
is there
somebody tells you
something-
like a Coors Light again, you're like, yeah, I'll drink one of those guys.
Get this banquet beer out of my face.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, I don't want to chug this land shark.
Yeah.
Go away.
I'm gonna have to
Shock
say
top. Shock top. Get that out of my face.
Oh,
there is. I don't want to call out anything
fair.
specific.
But there is one. And what kind of beer is it?
I mean, I like all beer. I like Coors Light. We have Coors Light here. I like Coors Original a lot. If I'm at a party and all they have is Coors Miller, I'm down for that.
all right.
All right.
It doesn't always have to be craft beer.
It's a little political.
Now, listen,
Yeah.
We're gonna take it.
we've talked to enough brewers at this point where they're like, there's nothing. I'll drink everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a
You're
craft
not
brewer
the
and you're like,
first.
yeah, I chug
You're
Miller Lights
definitely
all
not
the
the
time.
first. You're
Yeah,
not-
I mean,
it's
yeah.
true.
I mean,
It's fair.
I can only have a little bit of a sour. I mean,
But you know what? You did
is
say
a sour? You're going to show up somewhere and is a sour going to be the only thing they have to drink?
Sour
That's
fest.
very, very, yeah.
he did say there is one beer.
Yeah, at that point, then
He-
maybe.
He did say
I
there is
wouldn't be
one
there.
beer.
I wouldn't show up to that
I wouldn't
party.
be there.
That wouldn't be my jam.
That's a good enough response to know.
Yeah.
There is one. So
Yeah.
I-
All right, there you
you
go.
know what? That's
All right.
fine. That's a good enough answer for me.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Do you
breeze.
have a deathbed beer?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, that's a good question. I
Right
love
there.
that. Good
That's
lord.
tough.
You know what? It's got to be between Pure Project, Pure West,
Good,
Juice
good-
Press
good job.
from Bergen,
Yeah.
and Swami's.
Nice.
Swamis.
Yeah,
Nice.
those
You like a
guys.
good,
Swami's is.
you like a good West Coast IPA. Huh?
I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect the hell out of that.
Yes, Swami's could be my desert island beer if I had to pick one beer to drink forever.
West Coast's got me into beer.
Yeah, if it had to
Yeah.
be hazy, probably Bergen Juice Press.
Nice.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's right. It's
Yeah, I
one
think,
of those two.
and it feels, I mean, and maybe you know better than we do, but, you know, I think West Coasters are kind of coming back around again. People are
Oh,
getting a little
definitely.
tired of this, and they're
I
kind
am
of going back
thankful
more to
for
West
that.
Coasties.
I
Right.
miss it.
Because, yeah, I mean, it should be I mean, giant IBUs and just clear and bitter and hot. It was always,
Yeah.
that's the,
I saw Green
Jam.
Flash. I saw Green Flash in the store the other day. I was like, I don't know who made this, but I'm buying it.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to keep track of who's making this shit now, but I'm into
Scott
it.
Decadence and stuff, like those things where they're just big.
Yeah.
Oh, man, those were great. And then, like, well, Green Flash and like you said, those were
Green Flash was the shit back in the day.
Well, back in the day, I would have 10, always have 10, 11 IPAs on tap, and it would be, more than half would be hazy, and the rest would be West Coast. Now it's kind of evened out now. A lot of people are going back to West Coast, including myself.
Yeah.
But I still love the hazies.
Such great flavor in the West Coast.
Yep.
This is how the rapid round's not so
that's
rapid.
why. Exactly.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's why.
Anytime, guys.
We make the rapid round not so rapid.
That's usually the issue.
So on the business end of it, and we usually don't allow multiple answers, but what do you have a kind of wish list or holy grail beers that you would like to have on tap here that haven't seen Arizona or just aren't available? Like money's not an issue.
I always like to ask people
Logistics
that
aren't
are,
an issue.
Like a brewery wish list.
I always like to ask
What
people,
would you like to see on your board that is like
and
you're chasing down?
before you really answer, you can have a moment to think about it. I always like to ask people that are big into distribution if they ever think we'll get Pliny.
Yeah, I mean Russian River would, I wouldn't turn that away, but
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I said no. Well, last time I went out to California, this is breweries that I can't get.
100%.
Right, yeah. Things are just not available to you at this moment,
I mean,
and not disparaging any other brewery. Just something you'd like.
I
to see
really like North Park. I can't
Yeah.
can't get them. Hopefully someday I will. I went to actually when I was just out in California a couple of weeks ago. Went to a brewery called Everywhere out in Orange County, and they make some really good beer. Love
Nice.
them.
Yeah.
Treehouse.
Yeah. I know, right?
Alchemist.
Right, yeah.
I know that's true. The
Trillium,
list's
friggin'
pretty long. Yeah.
Better steel. So I'm like, yeah.
One of my wish list brews, I ended up just we started bringing them in, which is Outer Range out in Frisco, Colorado.
Yep, that's
I believe
sweet.
they're out of. I just snuck a couple of pints the other day of one of the kegs, and
Nice.
That's
pretty darn good.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Pretty darn good. Yeah, definitely.
We've been definitely getting a lot more in this state recently, and just I'm for it.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
like, let's
A lot
keep-
of times
let's
the
keep it
only
going.
limitations now are what can you travel? What will
Yep.
travel well?
yeah.
You know?
Arizona seems to be a hot market right now. I mean, Mike can probably attest to this more than I can. But yeah, there's a lot of breweries coming out to Arizona, which it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, especially with the rotating taps that we do, and a lot of other places too. Just keep it fresh and keep different stuff coming in at all times. So
Right.
it's awesome. I love it.
Which is nice because, and I give credit to like you guys and other places that bring beers in, is Arizona used to be a dumping ground for beers that weren't selling at home. They're like, let's just
Yeah.
ship all this shit to Arizona. They'll drink it.
Yeah.
And now we're actually getting quality stuff and first run stuff and not just
Yeah.
leftovers and all that stuff. So
Right.
it's credit to like you guys bringing stuff in and building relationships out of state and bringing
Definitely.
stuff like that in.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love to do. Like I was just mentioned, I was out in California a couple of weeks ago, and I love, I love going out and seeing and just, making new friends and hooking up with old. And, went to Pure Project and hung out with Mike over there for a few beers. The guys over at Persian,
Yeah.
love those guys. Always go to Pizza Port, Artifacts. I'm from San Clemente, so. Loved hanging out with Johnny over at Artifacts and
Yeah.
all the guys at Pizza Port. Just good people. It's awesome to kind of hang out and shoot the shit with those guys about craft beer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's fun.
And
I love my job.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
I know it's terrible.
And since you've had a lot of beers, the next question is, what is something that does not belong in beer? Do you have an ingredient that you're just like, absolutely not?
Any adjuncts? You're just no, thank you.
No, I don't. No, not really. No, I don't.
So you drink the yeast beer that had what? There's
yeah.
one
Oh,
with
Rogue.
yeast from a beer.
Yeah,
Or
Rogue
from a
did
beer.
the brewer's beer. Like it was the yeast in the brewer's beer. They harvested it and then made the beer.
Oh, I don't. I know what you're talking about. I don't.
Yeah.
I've never tried. I didn't try that.
no,
one.
but do you think that? I
I probably wouldn't.
that's what we're saying.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what we're saying.
I'd probably say no.
So body parts. You don't want any.
Yeah, no
any-
body parts in the beer.
All right.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I
no
had it.
body-
It was okay.
no body parts.
And then to finish up the rapid round is probably the hardest question we've had. It used to be easy, but now it's kind of impossible. Is what do you think the next trend in beer is?
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's the general. That's the general answer we get.
Shoot.
I always try to imagine what my answer would be.
Nate, what do you think?
I'm,
the
I'm,
next trend
I'm
is?
still
I'm
waiting.
stuck.
I'm still waiting for those hoppy, like Troon. I'm still waiting for something like that to, Either like a really hoppy lagers or really hoppy, hoppy pilsners.
The first
the
thing
ones that look like IBAs, but they're
the first thing that came to mind. I mean, it's
IPAs.
lagers have been around forever, but lagers are making a huge comeback now.
Yeah.
Or at least they are.
Oh yeah,
out
crispy.
here.
The crispy stuff is.
Yeah, the crispy stuff's.
It's hitting hard these days.
And a lot of the
Thank
breweries
God.
are making hoppy. We have one on tap where we did. It's called Da Guito from Pizza Port. It's a hoppy pilsner.
Nice. Yeah.
It's really good. Or they call it a West Coast pilsner.
That sounds
I
awesome.
dig it a lot.
I bet that's
super
great.
Good. It's really good.
WCP.
I think that stuff like that's gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, that's our other show.
I mean, I look forward to see what these brewers are going to do next. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like it's never ending to what different styles everybody's doing.
I like that it's some of these breweries. They're a little less worried about the trends. While they they'll keep a flagship, but a lot of these brewers are just doing what they want, which is nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as like like you said, pilsners, all these different European styles you see come in. It's just nice to see.
Yeah, I love pilsners.
It's so damn good.
Yeah.
So
A lot of brewers are making New Zealand IPAs now. I've been seeing a lot of those.
Motueka.
Yep.
Motueka.
Whatever, dude.
Motueka.
If you know where I
Listen,
got that,
Chase lived in
I don't give a shit.
Australia, and he told us how to say it.
John Rowley told me exactly how to say it, and if John Rowley said
Isn't
it,
it Motueka?
he said Motueka, but
Schwecka.
you know, I love John Rowley, so it's fine by me.
But Chase had the
I would
accent and
mispronounce it
everything.
every day of my life.
Yeah. I mean, Chase. Yeah. I believe Chase. I like John too, but
I also
believe
like
Chase.
Chase, but I've seen John more recently.
That's true.
So now to change subjects, now that we finished up the rapid round, how do you go from opening this place to building a relationship to Pizza Port? Let's cover that whole swath in 2 minutes. But no, how did you? What was it? Your idea? Did somebody come to you? Were you like always wanted to open your own place? How did Divide Divine start?
So I used to sell beer back in the day.
Like out of your trunk, or
No, I work. Yeah, I work for three different distributors. So Clayton came from another beer bar in the past, and I called on him, and I would always make him my last stop because we would end up sampling way too much, and I would have to go home after that. And I think I was having a bad day one day and was tired of working for other people, and I came in and asked if their beer bar was looking for any investors or other partners, and that didn't happen. And I don't know, maybe 6, 7, 8 months later, I was at an account, and the buyer told me that, hey, did you hear what happened with Clayton? And I said, no. He said, oh, he left this other place.
you're like, did he get arrested?
Right?
That was your first thought.
Well, yeah,
right?
he left this other place, and I'm like, well, I'll call him tomorrow. I'm sure a lot of people are hitting him up, asking him what happened, because, you know, Clayton, he's pretty famous in this business. But literally next day, I get a text from him in the morning, and he said, hey, do you still want to open a place? And I said, absolutely. So we met at a bar where nobody would.
Know who you were?
No,
you
nobody-
kind of.
Yeah. It's not like we
in
met at another beer bar.
a shady underground dive bar.
Yeah, so the both of us were, we literally sat in that Irish bar it was, and came up. He had the logo and came up with the name and the concept, and just made it happen. Really, that's how, a lot of it is just making it happen. Just
putting in the footwork.
Yeah, exactly. Just seeing it through, and just it's been awesome. I mean, I no regrets at all. So.
Hey, cool.
Drained every dollar I had.
We've heard that story before.
Yeah. Drained my 401k, and here we are.
Best investment in yourself, though.
Yeah, no, I had no regrets. I love this place, and I love what I do, and I love all of the community that we're in. And you guys know there's a lot of neighborhoods around this place, and
Yeah.
all of the local people that come in are super cool. So it's kind of like a beer wine bar cheers, if you will.
Nice.
It is. It's pretty cool. Pretty special. Sorry.
Well, it has to be. I can't think of another place that's not commercial or like a chain that has the beer and wine options that you guys have. Like a lot of places
Right.
have either or. This probably has the best selection of both.
Pretty wild selection of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our one of the concept when we came up with Divided Vine was the Divided Vine, even though hops are grown on vines. But we wanted to be a beer bar, but we also wanted to be a wine bar. And you guys have been in here enough times, you can come in any given time and,
It's called you guys out.
Yeah. You guys have been here enough, right?
These guys have been.
Yeah. I mean, half the bar could be drinking wine and come in another time and, it's all beer. So I think we've nailed both sides of it for sure.
Yeah, you guys have done good.
Before we go,
Oh,
so
did we?
this
Whoops,
event's
never mind.
happening.
Whoops.
What other events you have coming up that you want me to actually let people know about?
Yeah, anything else coming up, Jeff?
I am going to do our first sour beer fest, I think, in the beginning
you
of
said you
June.
wouldn't go to one of those.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's
and
not-
he's not going to go to it. He's going to host
I
it.
won't drink them all, but the
okay.
customers
Yeah,
will.
he's going to host it. He's not going to go.
Making sure.
He doesn't have to pay to go. If he
Yeah,
hosts
right.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
true, I guess,
Exactly. I'm probably gonna do a sour fest in June.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna do something with Beechwood Brewing out in California. Probably prior to that.
It's probably not going to be a sour stout, Chris, so don't get your
Yeah.
hopes
Damn
up.
it. All right.
Simmer down, pal.
Yep. And then and I always do a big IPA, an IPA day, or IPA event for National IPA Day. I think it's the first Thursday in August, so that'll be coming
okay.
up too. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Can't wait. Again, thanks for having us, Jeff.
Oh, absolutely.
Really appreciate it. You have a wonderful establishment here, man.
Appreciate it, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, guys, we're back again with the Hobby Craftsman podcast.
that was a lot of energy in that one.
A new beer and a new beer and a new guest. We have Mike from Pure Project. Thanks
The
for
man of
joining
the
us, man.
hour.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you.
Happy to be here.
What do you do for Pure? So for our guests,
Pure,
What
I
would you
am-
say you do here?
Yeah, what do
what
say
would
do?
you say
I
you
am
do?
the territory manager for all territory excluding San Diego.
Okay.
So you
All
just
right.
go places and pee on them?
That means you
like, this
go-
is mine.
You
This is my
mean-
territory.
It means you
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
means you
In the
go
long run.
everywhere except San Diego as far as for territories.
Yeah,
your area.
Through COVID, I was the only salesperson up until about September of last year, and
Okay.
Since then we've got 2 San Diego sales.
You're a lucky guy then.
Life is good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well,
Well,
nice.
all right, so
thank you for joining us. First
Thank
of all,
you for
man,
having me.
much
Yeah.
appreciated.
And thanks
So-
to Jeff for having us out at Divided Vine today.
Yep. Jeff the man. Thanks a lot,
I'll
buddy.
get putting at Jeff. Nobody on the podcast can see that.
Yeah.
We're
We all
thanking
can
you,
see it.
Jeff.
That's why I said his name, but yes.
We're thanking you, Jeff. Yeah.
So for anybody that's listening to this podcast that probably wouldn't listen to this podcast, but who is Pure Project and what do you guys do there?
Pure Project. We just turned 7. We're a craft brewery from San Diego, California. We are a 1% for the Planet company, meaning that we donate 1% of our top line sales to environmental nonprofits. We do a wide range of beers, everything from a really light, wonderful Pilsner that just won Best Pilsner in San Diego at the San Diego Beer News Awards.
Which one was that?
It's called Rain.
Oh, dude, that was good.
a
That
fun
was
beer.
really good.
That's what I'm drinking.
Yeah, that was tasty. I had one of those already.
We do beers
Sorry,
across the spectrum. We're known somewhat for our murky IPAs, our hazy IPAs, but we do a whole lot other than that. Like I said, we are very environmentally focused. We're very focused on sourcing high quality ingredients. The Rain, which I was just talking about, we use all California grown organic malt. It's malted
Sweet.
on Alameda Island at Admiral Maltings. Very unique product. We love it.
Yeah.
Costs a little bit more to make, but it's well worth it.
Now, I might sound like a bit of a noob, and you may not know, but when I first started going to Pure, like 4 or 5 years ago, I forget. It was a brewery started on a group system, right?
Yeah, the project is called the property management company HG Fenton built out turnkey breweries and solicited breweries that had business plans to get these spaces. So we were the first of 2 to do that. This was they put this call out at the end of 2015, like September 2015. Our owners were one was living in Costa Rica at the time, and the other was back and forth between Costa Rica and San Diego. They had worked together in the past, but had the business plan. They were going to put the brewery together in Manuel Antonio, Costa Rica. Due to there not being infrastructure down there, wastewater treatment, electric grid, that kind of thing. It never really worked out, but they had the business plan, they had the funding for it, they had all that stuff.
Wow.
So, yeah, so Jesse, one of our owners, was down there, and his buddy hit him up. Jesse was coming up for a wedding to San Diego, and he's like, hey, I heard HG Fenton has this opportunity. They had a meeting when Jesse was up in San Diego and pretty quickly signed it. Took about 6 months to build the brewery out. If you've ever been to our Miramar location, they spent that whole time pulling apart pallets and putting moss on the wall, plants that are still there alive 7 years later.
No shit.
It's just a lot of just really, really hands-on. I mean, even our bathrooms are just the coffee bags. Simple, but it's very beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great tap room.
Yeah.
It's great. You guys still have Amplified next door right there?
Amplified went a different business plan, so they vacated that space. Right now, Cove is next door to us in the same type of space.
Right.
They're a hard yerba mate producer. They're awesome. It's nice to have neighbors.
That's awesome. Good story. That's good to know. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
So no, that's good stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of history. Very
good.
succinct.
Good
I've told the story a couple times.
Yeah, you
like
practiced,
I said,
right?
I've been, I was.
done this.
I'm the second longest tenured employee there. So
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, I've told the
Awesome.
story probably 3 times at least.
You're going to be a good interview then.
That was like 6 floors in the elevator, I think, right? Yeah. We're good.
How many?
That was
going
my
to the top.
That was my one good question, though. So please can take over from here.
Get on your AI, figure out some what are good
I
questions.
know.
Oh, we've done that. We have
got it,
Chat GPT questions. that
They already
we've
gave
used.
up in life and did that.
So, how do you get to Arizona and work with somebody like Divided Vine?
Man, we've got
Where
a
does that
great
start?
partner out here. So there's a company called Manual Brothers out here. I hope I'm not giving away any secrets, but
Nope, we
Luke
don't.
Manual is a phenomenal guy. They run basically, it's not a distributorship, it's basically a delivery service. So he delivers to a wealth of accounts out here, and he's more than happy to share those accounts with us. He doesn't do any of the sales. He doesn't have a sales team. He doesn't have anybody doing anything that a distributor would do. But we make connections. I've met Jeff and Clayton way back in the before times. We had the same kind of thing. Like, Jeff, like you said, from San Clemente, knows Southern California beer, and was the first to kind of ask, hey, we got something going on out here. So I think probably 2017 was the first time we sent beer out to Arizona. I mean, we're pretty early in the game, pretty early as far as our company history. And it's just really great out here. It's a very tremendously large market, very thirsty market. And really, aside from Orange County, LA, it's the next closest population center. I mean, from San Diego to out here, 5.5, 6 hours. From us to San Francisco, Sacramento area is like 9 hours. So it's actually closer,
I still remember trading cans of Pure in Wilderness's parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was
100%.
not too long ago, but I mean, it's different now.
Yeah, I mean,
Times have changed.
we're always happy to be here, and it's just really cool because, as you guys probably know, a lot of people from the Phoenix and greater, Valley and Arizona in general, when it gets hot out there, they come out to San Diego.
Yep.
It seems like they come out to San Diego a lot more than they would go out to Los Angeles even. So it's just kind of cool because in the summer, our tap rooms become like, sort of like when they have spring training out here.
Yeah,
It's like summer training for beer drinkers out in San Diego. So
We definitely made that road trip once or twice.
Yeah, I think I've been to your downtown location as well. We got that little pizza spot just across the street there, at least.
Yeah, that's our Balboa Park location. We've got 5 tap rooms now.
Okay. So I've been
Yeah.
to 2.
Okay, we've
My
been to
bad.
2, yeah,
I've just been to
I've
the
been to
2.
5.
The main one and that one.
Yeah, so those 2 were operational before COVID. During COVID, actually in July 2020, we opened our Carlsbad Village location. That got put on pause for just about 3 months. Like we were supposed to
Not
open in
bad.
April. Actually opened to go only in July 2020. Yay, woo, we did it. June of 2021, we purchased a new production facility up in Vista. Actually purchased it, so that's really cool. Like one of the, don't quote me on this, but there's only like 4 or 5 breweries in San Diego that actually own the building, which is kind of wild when you think about it.
Right. Yeah.
But we're one of those, so we're really
Nice.
lucky and a great opportunity at that. So that was June of 2021 that we opened that new production facility along with the tap room there. And then March of 2022, we opened our new North Park tap room, which is not too far from the Balboa Park location, but the demographics are completely different.
Yeah.
Different clientele.
You don't have to travel very far to get a completely different area.
Totally. And that North Park area is just a lot of people, a lot of industry people there, but a lot of people who live in apartments and don't have a backyard space, a place to relax. So we kind of built a big backyard for everybody to come and hang out.
That's awesome.
It's a fun
That's
place.
rad.
So, listen, I'm gonna hit you with a really hard question. I'm
Hard
sorry
hitting
for this.
ones.
Listen, we talk about this all the time, right? Like, so we talk about how there are more breweries in San Diego County than there actually are in all of Arizona. Like, how do you guys deal with that, being in that such a busy space with so many people? How do you stand out? How do you make yourself?
I mean, it's like,
You know.
okay, you can kind of have the same question. Like, yeah, there's that many breweries, but like look at it like parks, right? Like every neighborhood's got a park. there are some really big parks. There's Balboa Park. You know, there's big, huge spaces for everybody. We've got a couple of those in the brewery scene. We've got some of these bigger regional parks. You know, like some of these. You know, but then most of the breweries in San Diego are just like a neighborhood park size. So it doesn't really. It's not a battle for turf.
Okay.
You know,
Not
it's like
everything's World Bistro. Stone.
I mean,
Example.
But those guys showed everybody how to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was
Right.
at the time when I'm old enough in this scene to remember that the law back in the early 2000s, you couldn't have chairs at a tap room. It was illegal to have stools and
Wow.
so there really were no tap rooms.
Right.
You know, there were restrictions on what you could pour as far as growlers, how many pints you could pour, that kind of thing. And slowly and surely, the business model started to unfold. The laws started changing. And the really cool thing about the San Diego licensing regime is that with every brewery permit that you have, you can open 5 satellite tasting rooms. So that was, I'm guesstimating here, but I believe that the Pizza Ports and Carl Strausses of our scene lobbied for something like that to be in place. Because, all of a sudden they had all these other facilities,
Yeah.
So
California realized what they had on their hands.
yeah, and it's a really great business environment for breweries out there. We have a good time collaborating with a lot of people. We've got so many friends in the business, and to your point, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of other businesses are very competitive. We're very collaborative, and it's a great scene to be in.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that we've always said too. Is like, beer people or craft beer people are the best people, right? It's really weird how that works. It's like you go to other industries and you see that, that like the headbutting, the versus me versus whoever. And craft beer, like in general, it's been really like, oh, you guys go next door? Yeah, they have this and this and this. It's awesome. Like you said, Amplify was right there at the time, and we went to Pier, and they were like, yeah, you should try their beers. You go next door and try them. It's awesome.
That might have been me behind the bar telling you that. I mean, that's what we did, Like
But that's cool.
we all come up together.
It's funny to hear people say that, but then actually see it in practice and see it in real life. So it's very
Absolutely.
cool.
From California, and especially San Diego, what do you guys think of Arizona beer scene? Like, is it a market that is just underserved, or what's your perspective from California?
I think Arizona, I mean, just like I was saying, the breweries that are out here, there's not the Stone, there's not the Ballast Point, there's not the gigantic one that becomes that university that all the brewers graduate from, going to found their own thing. So there's not quite that. I mean, there's some that are of that size and stature. I don't,
There's not the Carl Strauss out here, right?
It's more like it's not that kind without that kind of
production size.
Yeah.
Like once you get to a certain size,
Yeah.
you have to have X amount of staff, and from a business like that, some of them will get the itch to go solo, and that just sort of happens. We had Stone, Ballast Point, AleSmith, Lost Abbey,
right.
places that were big enough to basically I call them universities. They turn into a college for people to learn, work together, and then some of those people just end up going somewhere else. So I think of the breweries that are out here, I think a lot of them are that smaller to medium size, which is still really great because the variety is there. I mean, without calling out names, like everybody's places that I've been to, it's not the same 5 beers. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing.
Yep.
And that's really cool to see.
Yeah.
So I think the ceiling for what could be going on out here is still tremendous. I think the scene right here is great, though. I mean, coming back out here, when you're saying like 2017 when we first started coming out here, you'd go into most of these places and you'd have to think like, wait, didn't I just get on a plane and come to Phoenix? Because the tap list looks just like San Diego. Like it's just San Diego breweries. Now I'd say it's changed a lot, and I'm literally drinking a beer from Tempe right now. So it's like that's how you do it.
Right. Yeah.
So
Speaking of beers, we're all drinking a beer. Weren't we supposed to say what beer we're drinking?
Oh, yeah.
Before
Well, we should, since
before
Pure
we
Project
got
is the featured guest. I hope we all have Pure Project beers.
I
Was
did.
that a requirement?
I did a good job.
Nah, I'm just joking. I got double diamond dust. Come on.
I had the Pure West.
Just, yeah.
I got the German pills. The
I already-
The rain.
I already gave up.
You work there. It's okay.
I'm not being a homer. Clayton, what was it?
No, it's Chrissy Boy from the shop.
Crispy boy from
Oh,
the shop.
nice. There
All
you go.
right. So
Okay. I was
Sweet.
wondering
Arizona
when you said
beer.
Tempe, I was like, shop.
another plug for the Hoppy Lager Boys podcast
Oh,
yeah.
that we never do.
Crispy Boys. Are we ready? We doing the rapid round
Yes,
here
we
with
are.
Mike? It's always interesting to see.
Yeah, weigh your palate. You're going to need this.
It's always interesting to see what people won't answer, and different people.
All opinions are mine, and not that of Pure Project.
Different people in different positions will answer or not answer certain questions. It's always funny because they don't want to step on people's toes, and we respect that. But yeah, let's do it, Ed.
Yeah, we're not looking to put anybody's foot to the flame.
Yeah,
But
this isn't TMC.
Yeah.
What a setup, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
yeah, it's way less
Sometimes
impressive
people-
in the execution.
You'd think it's serious. It's not. Some people just don't want to tell you what beer they never drink.
And that's why we always start out with the podcastiest podcast question ever. What is the beer that got you into craft beer?
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
See, that's the one.
See,
Yeah, dude.
and that is probably the number one
Triple
answer we
bullet. Let's
get.
go.
It's,
It is.
I know how old I am, so
Let's
I think
go, dude.
all of my peers would say that.
That's
We
a
can't
good
say it
one.
too loud. Clayton's over. He's gonna hear us.
Yeah, you
He's
can
gonna-
close your
he's
eyes
gonna-
or close your eyes, Aiden.
Yeah,
or Clayton, you don't want to hear this.
questions.
He's gonna write these down as he gets into the.
He's gonna
he's gonna
have
cheat.
answers ready to go.
No, wait, no, you're good, man. You're fine.
Wow, all your answers are the
And he
same
really
as.
left. And he
it's
really
weird.
left. Okay. All right, Sierra Pat. That's a good answer.
No,
I like that
is
answer.
We just
very-
brewed a beer back home called Legends Never Die, which is a tribute to Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
I had that. Very
100%
good.
Cascade hops. Yeah, just spot on.
Very good.
Yep. Oh,
It's the OG, man.
it's on tap tonight.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's on tap here. If you hear anybody who followers, you're going to know. So yeah, we'll.
Do you
down
have
here,
What's
try it.
next? Let's go
Do you
try
have a
next.
guilty pleasure beer? Something you don't want your friends to see you drinking, but you love it and
Nah,
will
I'm
drink
not
it
a
all the
beer
time.
snob.
You're not a snob. You'll
drink whatever.
You'll
whenever.
drink natural light to high life to the whole spectrum, right?
Yeah. Look, the best beer is whatever's the one right in front of you. I mean,
Yeah, there you go.
you know.
Well, it's like we go to places and they always have like the like it's like the mystery, like a
Oh,
brown
yeah.
bag. It's like
Probably wouldn't do that. But
Probably not doing the
I
brown
just don't like
bag.
living dangerous.
all right.
Yeah.
That's good.
So to skip ahead, since you're not a
skipping?
beer snob, is there an ingredient that should not be in a beer?
Nah.
Everything.
The beard yeast.
That seemed predictable of an
I
answer.
mean, where does yeast come from? Do you guys know where yeast comes from? It doesn't come from somebody's beard?
The air.
Wherever.
Wherever.
We do spontaneously fermented beer. I'm sure somebody with a beard was walking by that day.
See, that's the
That's
right answer. Everybody
funny.
got grossed out by it. I'm always
That's
like,
funny.
yeast.
lots of. I drank the beard beer. It was delicious. Well, it was okay.
You've
It wasn't-
got the thickest beard here. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's not gonna discriminate.
I was like,
there's more
thinking
yeast in your beard
yeah.
right now as we say this than there is in that beer. So there you
That's
go.
probably true. Not gonna lie, it's probably true. There's lots of. Well, there was like some weird people like.
No,
I mean,
there's things that I don't prefer.
Yeah.
But as far as what you should or shouldn't put in it, just do it right. I
go
mean,
crazy.
my friends back home everywhere, they just did a chocolate mint lactose hard
Oh.
seltzer.
Holy cow! What is that?
Have at it, guys.
shit.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's
That's
buying
rad.
it, cool.
That's awesome.
None, some people would say none of those things belong in a beer. It's not. Well, I guess it's a seltzer anyway.
That's
But
a
still,
seltzer.
but it's amazing. Like,
You can put it where
no,
you
be
want.
creative, have fun. What I mean, we're not running Heinzke boat over here.
Yeah.
Just have some fun.
People like chicken tenders and beer, that kind of stuff.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
yeah, that's right.
All right.
So what's in your beer fridge at home right now?
What's in my beer fridge at home? I don't have like a museum kind of beer fridge. I just kind of have like a fresh beer fridge. I don't.
Right.
Yeah. I've got a couple things in the cupboard, but probably more first year Pure Project things. Probably need to drink those. No, but no, I don't really. Nothing's really like precious. If I want precious, I'll go somewhere and grab one and have it.
You
And
have access to Precious.
well, yeah. I just don't. I'm not the museum kind of
You let someone
mentality.
else sell the beer and then you
Right.
come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I do have a beer fridge, but that's, for
Silence.
professional purposes mostly.
It's like I'll
I'm
take
allowed to
this
say that.
I mean, we say that too, but we're also not really professional. So it's like,
As long as you're writing this off on your taxes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
we're full of shit.
yeah, life is good.
yeah.
Do you have a deathbed beer?
God, I hope not.
Well, not today, but
What do you got in mind? I mean, like I said, nothing that precious. I like good pale ales on West Coast, and if I'm going out, I'm probably going out with that. I like keeping things. I like the 5 to 7% range, or 5 to 6, I should say, 6.5. Maybe okay. You're killing me. Give me a triple.
Give me-
triple West Coast. There we go.
7, all
You
right.
talked me into
7.5.
it.
Fine.
Yeah.
so what's your beer and food pairing then?
I'm kind of weird. I don't really drink when I eat, and I started this about like 25 years ago. And I don't I don't know why. I think somebody convinced me that your stomach enzyme. This is the worst answer to this question.
Nah, that's good.
But I don't really drink while I'm eating, so I don't really pair like that. But
Okay.
I don't like drinking a lot of overly flavored beer with any food. Like crisp, nothing sweet, nothing sour.
Right.
Like a Pilsner,
Clean.
or West Coast.
Yeah. Crisp and clean.
Something clean like that. Unless you're trying to do something. But I also don't have a sweet tooth. So I'm not looking to do that kind of thing.
Makes sense.
That was a step aside answer.
That's the best part about doing this all the time is to hear everybody's different answers. Like to hear how everybody differently answers the questions, and then they would say, like some people sidestep the questions, some people actually answer.
Some people Some people
Some people
genuinely
don't.
just don't want
Don't.
to
They just don't have an
say
answer.
any beer, and it's fine. And we've come across that so many times. They're like, I don't really have a whatever the beer he calls it. The guilty pleasure
moped.
beer.
We call it moped beer.
Yeah. Something
Okay,
you don't want
'cause-
anybody seeing. Some people are just like, no. I mean, there's one, but no, because it's funny. But I get it. You just don't want to.
I don't want anybody to see me drinking a Kool-Aid. I mean, but like beer, it's beer.
Exactly.
I
That
literally-
is a good way to look at it.
Drinking,
Ed, I
squeezing
feel like
juice box the other day.
I feel like you skipped a few rapid round questions.
I'm keeping it relevant.
Oh,
So
light.
if you could have a beer with anybody, a historical figure, living or dead, who would it be?
we didn't ask Jeff that.
No.
No, we're good. We gotta mix it up.
So then can I say Jeff?
Yes.
Is he a historical figure? Does he classify?
I mean, it depends on the circle you're in, I guess. Yes. Right?
Yeah.
I've never
mean-
been asked that question. Let me think.
All right. Good job, Ed. Good job, Ed.
Fritz Maytag,
Fritz,
the
okay.
founder of Anchor,
All right.
and
cool.
thus the guy who spawned or spawned whatever Sierra Nevada and Ken Grossman into that thing. Kind of cobbled a bunch of stuff together using dairy equipment and things like that. But I think Fritz buying Anchor in an era when that wasn't a good business decision, I would like to kind of.
Pick his
Right,
brain.
Figure out
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
I
What
accidentally
did
sat next to Ken Grossman on a flight from Seattle to Anchorage one time, so I already
Ken
did that
Grossman.
one. That
Grossman.
would have been a good answer, but I already did. So yeah,
Yeah, you're like, I did that, so
I
that
did,
doesn't
yeah.
count.
So who's in front of that? Okay, there. That was my decision tree on that answer.
Where I guess if are you good, Ed?
I got one more, and
All
this
right,
is
go
the
ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
the one that's been becoming harder and harder to answer for people is
Yeah.
what is the next trend in beer?
Core beers.
Yes.
People.
Circling back to West Coast.
Well, no, I think
Core beers,
well,
dude.
that too,
Flagships.
yeah, I think
Beer
it's funny
special
as
for
you
that
look
brewery.
at the trajectory, especially from coming from San Diego. I'm answering this from a San Diego perspective, but
Yeah.
like Stone started as the anti-big beer company, no fizzy yellow beer, all that, and obviously we've went full circle on that, and maybe they make a fizzy yellow beer now. Maybe, and it's not a knock to them. I mean, it is what it is. You follow what the people want. But we're coming back around. We're drinking lagers. We're drinking, stuff that was what they were going away from back then. And I think everything has moved a lot towards specialty and, doing only check them once. I overheard Jeff saying people will order a beer and then, they'll say, what do I have next? And, oh, try that one. Oh, I already had that. Like, that's cool. But like, I don't think most people live the rest of their lives like that. Like, yeah, you go to a restaurant and they got a burger and you're not like, oh, I had that before.
Yeah,
You can be like, no, that's actually really good, So I think breweries are starting to learn, probably us included, but learn how to kind of stand behind your core beers. And they're core beers for a reason because they prop the yeast that we need to make the beers that we need to make. So it's like we need to make these beers.
That's a
We need
really
to sell
good way to
these beers. It just is what it is. It's not, we can make a new thing over and over, and it's similar, and call it something different, come up with a different marketing campaign. But we've got some really great core beers. I mean, Rain with the 100% organic, all California grown malt.
Yeah.
Tropical Mist is a citrus blonde ale that we do with organic Valencia oranges from San Diego County from Lodge Ranch Organics. We've been doing that one for like 5 years now. That's a great beer, and people think of blonde ale like, yawn, whatever. No, like it's really delicious and flavorful. Every one of our cores has a story behind it, whether it's sourcing, whether it's, where we crafted it from. But I think really, as I'm kind of looking around, Spellbinder, Valley beer. Like people's cores are starting to kind of live on their own now.
For
So
sure.
I hope that's next, and bring on the pale ales, whatever.
Right.
That would be my, if you're asking what I want more pale ales, but yeah. And then I guess the opposite answer is like, what is a trend? Like what do you consider the last trend? Did it actually happen, or was it like people were just blogging about it?
Yeah.
Like people,
Right, like how popular was it actually, or was it just getting?
I mean, like the
recognition?
brute IPA, like okay,
That was like a 2-week
That was a
trend.
but right, like
It's a blip.
but people got to write about it. Like
Yeah,
it was
for sure.
like it
Right.
was the talk because it was just people weren't whatever. Like
Well,
so was it a trend or was it not?
People
Because
were doing it for so long, and they weren't calling it that, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
so people were making those beers, and they just weren't
I
calling
just-
it
I
that,
think-
and
I
then
think-
they jumped on that train.
I think people like to say that there's trends, but I think just follow the beer and you'll see kind of what it is.
What was the last one? Cold IPA? Was that the?
No, that's now. That's still happening.
Does it still
is
happen?
Cold-
it still-
cold
it seemed
IPAs
to-
are-
It
cold
seems to
IPAs
have kind
are-
of fallen off a little bit.
But once again, like it was just something new, and it's an extension of a thing that people love. And
Right.
So it's a new way to do it, a different way to do it, maybe not new.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That's a good answer.
We need to come back around to the wet IPA.
Those
The
are
wet
wet
hops.
Wet hop.
The wet hops are.
yeah, it's hard for
love
us in
those.
San Diego County to do those, at least with our ethos. I mean,
Yeah.
But then if my cousin lives in Seattle, we've got some friends in Seattle, so up there, like they block off 2 months for wet hop season,
No kidding.
and it's like
shit.
whoa, really cool.
Yeah.
But you can't do that in
Yeah. Southern California.
Texas,
No, right.
California. Like you just
Well,
can't.
Well, Pueblo Vita in Tucson tells us
shit.
they're doing it. And I was like Tucson's getting wet hops. That's
Yeah.
pretty impressive. But like you said, it's against your ethos for brewery.
Well, I mean,
that's
we've
kinda-
done stuff that got I can't remember the producer, but we had 2 years in a row where we got, I think, wet hop strata that was picked at like 4 a.m, flown to us got to the airport at like 6,
Yeah.
landed to us at noon, and then we made a beer with it that day.
Oh wow,
Right,
that's
so like
crazy.
that stuff is fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So like we'll do it like that,
That's rad.
you know what I mean? But all in all, like we're not going to do a month-long extension. We have Strawberry Fest, like Pure Project Strawberry Fest is phenomenal, epic. Like we've been doing it basically since we started. But we work with a farm called JR Organics out in the Escondido area. There's been years where we've gotten 8,000 pounds of organic strawberries for about 6 weeks worth of beers. And it's really cool. Like we have a partnership with them. Our whole team will go out and pick strawberries on their field. Last year we did that and had they made a lunch for us with all their produce.
Did you guys do any IPAs with those strawberries?
We did a Merc Shake, which is a murky triple
Thank
IPA
you.
with
It was yes. Go ahead,
organic
sorry.
strawberries and organic vanilla bean.
Yeah.
That's the one that we did with that. Super fun.
Yeah, dude, that's sick.
So
That's
speaking
awesome.
of
That's so
trends,
cool.
did Pure come up with the murky name?
Yeah, that's just what we called them. We
I'd never
so
seen it
our-
before I went there.
Yeah,
I'd
I
never
hadn't seen it before, and it.
Well, you got to remember we opened January 2016, and that there really wasn't a agreed on name for that kind of beer back then. So, September 2016, I think us, Modern Times, and Abnormal came out with the hazy beer in the same 2-week period. The first one we did was Merklands, or our Murky Pale Ale.
Right.
And we just kind of already had the name in mind. But actually, our brewer Winslow, when he was putting his original menu together, he had a hazy IPA on that option, and that would have been, if you look at the time frame, probably November, December 2015. So he was already doing them back then. But he was talking with our owners, and he is now an owner. That he got equity, but they kind of decided, hey, you're in San Diego, you got to come out the gate with a West Coast Pale Ale. Like, you can't be a new brewery in San Diego and not have a West Coast, because that's just, and they didn't even call them West Coast back then, right?
Yeah,
that was
I know, right?
It's an IPA.
Yeah,
It was an IPA. It was a
yeah.
clear IPA.
Yeah, the Department of Redundancy department will come and get you. But back then, yeah, you needed to have a IPA, period, to kind of say who you were and pay tribute to.
And I remember Pure hitting hard because I was out there in 2016 or 2017 because I was like, this is the hot spot to be at. Like,
But
this
once again, you saw the space. We were a brew igniter. We're on a 7-barrel
Small.
brew house, 15-barrel fermenter. So, I
small
mean,
little tap room.
I think we just always punched above our weight. We've always, have not been afraid to be bigger than who we are.
It's amazing
because
the influence you guys had right away, though. I mean, it is.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
Please.
No, I'll take the
apologize.
compliments. Anymore?
Yeah. No,
No,
No.
continue.
But it's cool. Like we kind of did things on the size that we were doing it. We were able to do whatever we wanted. I mean, what we weren't going to sell 15 barrels of beer, like it'll sell.
Yeah.
You know, so we did like we did vanilla cream ale. So we've done a bunch of vanilla cream ale series. We had Romeo and Julius, which was an orange variant when we opened. But maybe within the first year or two, we did vanilla cream ale with orange blossoms and served it on nitro. And that was one of the most phenomenal beers I've ever had. So it's like who thinks of that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So it's fun.
You sold that.
I mean, listen, you want more compliments. So we went out to.
I'm your guy.
Thank you.
We went to Cali forever ago. We actually did but we went to Toolbox and we went to some other places and we did like Stone and
R.I.P. Toolbox. I miss Toolbox.
And Bergeron. We went to all those places. Yeah, Toolbox is great, dude. And so then we did that, and the next day we're like, all right, we're heading. We didn't leave the next day, but we're going south, and we're gonna fucking hit up here. And so we stood outside of the tap room, him and I and our buddy Jeff, and just hung out before you guys even opened because we wanted to be the first people in the door. So I mean,
that was the way it was the first couple of years. That was, you know,
it was true. Like he said, he was, you know, you guys came out of the gate swinging, and it was, you know, we followed. We talked about earlier. We have a newsletter in our Hopping Craftsman Gmail. And like for a long time, it was like us looking at it and being like, "Man, look at these fucking bombs coming out. We might have to take another trip out to San Diego. This is gonna be amazing." Yeah. And now we're getting them here, and
now we don't have to go that far.
Now we have to go that far. It's
15
amazing.
minutes.
Every
Thanks to
time-
Clayton and Jeff.
Super stoked to have the support.
And
out
you,
here.
Mike. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's awesome to go into your local place and be like you said, like you see those core beers. I see them every time I go in there. I see you guys' core beers and I see what you're doing, and then I see the other ones, the one-offs coming in, just see what's happening. It's great.
Hey, for merch, the first glassware we did, we copied the Pure
dude.
Project.
I've got such a sick Pure Project, the Hydro Flask, the 64 ounce high from way back when, that turquoise blue one.
Yeah, that's epic.
Because I went there and I was just like, I fucking need one of everything. I'm gonna be honest, like, just drive home from San Diego's with bombers and stuff. Because it was special.
Oh, yeah.
It was different. I was like, I cannot get this beer where I'm coming from. I can't. I want to, and I believe in the brewers in my area, but they're not making this.
Thank you guys for bringing the mentality back, and now like we're just stoked to be out here.
Because
Thanks for being here, dude.
the Imperial line on the pint had a bear on it, right? On the glass.
Well, so the 10 ounce. Yeah, so it's a bear and a sloth because we're California and Costa Rica.
Dude, and
That's a great story, by the way. Thanks for sharing that.
So that style of glass, loved it.
The snifter style brandy glass.
No. The Libby, the pint glass Libby that actually like flares out a little bit.
The one with the big
it's
thick
like
top or the thick bottom.
Yeah. It's about this tall, and it flares out at the top.
20 ounces.
The original one was a Libby glass.
Like a Willie Beecher,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Beecher,
one.
yep.
Yeah. That's the first glass we did because we were like, this is the coolest glass. Like every beer should be in that glass.
And to be perfectly honest with you, we like your logo. I mean, if sometimes you ever look at our logo, it's similar-ish, and it's just one of those things. It's just like.
Don't tell them that. We're gonna have to see.
We'll have to figure
Yeah, I'll let her know. No, it's,
Shit.
the best thing about our merch is nothing on here says beer brewery brewing.
Yeah.
So like if my wife's a high school teacher, she wants to wear a sweatshirt
She
to work.
can
She
wear
doesn't have to
that.
think twice about we can't wear this.
Right. No, it's just you guys are really definitely influencers, and just really one of the original breweries with that murky name. It's like murky. That sounds delicious. Like I don't know why, but that sounds good.
You are a target demographic all the way.
We're in.
Yeah, Nate is.
I am. But thanks for being here, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And
Sorry to slow down the speed around here.
Hey, that's why it always goes really slow
goes
because we
long.
start talking.
Well, okay, so to wrap it up, what else you got going on? This is the tap room takeover today, but what else you got going on in the Valley? What people can look forward to going forward? And where can people find more information about your project?
I really recommend anybody who cares a lick about anything that I said, non-beer related, please go to our website. It's purebrewing.org. Purebrewing.org. I always fumble when I say that. But we literally have so much information on there about our 1% for the Planet nonprofit partners, our sourcing, just the whole ethos. And it's like it's actually fun to read. Like it's put together in a really, really robust way that you can get really deep on it. And I've had plenty of conversations with, people. I can talk an hour without talking about beer. And that's really what's fun to us. Like our anniversary parties, we've always got one of them out doing our raffles. It's been outdoor outreach for a long time. We surf rider this past year, but like we have them come out, have a booth. We let them talk and give their presentation to the crowd. So it's just cool to share that kind of stuff. So yeah, purebrewing.org. And then as far as out here, I don't know how time shifted this podcast is, but we're doing an event at Tucson Hop Shop. So we're kind of out and about, just popping. I'm actually on a vacation right now, so I'm just kind of ending the vacation with a couple beer stops. But
thanks for joining us on your vacation.
Absolutely. And just probably come out about once a month. Got some stuff on the board, but just go to our website, purebrewing.org, and we have links to our social media stuff. Instagram's a great place that we keep most of our current like event information.
Okay.
We've got a fairly big Instagram following, so I think people, hopefully who are listening, may have already been following.
Oh,
so.
Yeah.
If they're not, they should be.
Yeah.
Shame
Should
on
be.
them.
You guys,
Shame on them
you
for
guys
not.
seem like you see like 5 or 10 more followers.
Yeah, I never recommend social media for anybody, but if you're already hooked, then check out ours. It's cool.
Well, thanks again, Mike.
Yep,
Big
Wait,
time.
to put
Please,
him on the
go ahead.
spot
Yep.
as an Arizona versus California thing. Describe the Arizona West Coast beer scene.
God, I couldn't even do that.
I was gonna say that's heady.
Is it
Say it in 3 words.
does it have a
I don't
long way
know.
to go?
You
Does
mean
it-
Arizona West Coast IPAs, or what
Yeah.
do you mean?
No, yeah. Compare Arizona West Coast IPAs to San
Yeah, I
Diego.
guess-
Well, that's the whole problem, man. Like, because
Yeah,
people
I
quit
guess
making them for a while.
Yeah.
That's true.
And people quit making West Coast in general for a while. And then I think out here, the tide turned towards hazy. And trust me, I've tried. Because I don't, when I'm going out, like that's my preferred style. Like
Right.
West Coast Pale Ale, West Coast IPA. I've tried.
Right.
There are some great ones out there.
Yeah.
But, just by sheer volume, San Diego's got a plethora of options. And so I mean, that's my very political answer, but
you name dropped some Ren beers. Have you tried their renovation, their West Coast?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How you like that compared to where you coming from? I mean, don't get me wrong. For me,
we
that's
set
a-
up
that's a top
collaborations with
tier.
them.
Yeah, that's a
That's-
top
you know what I
tier
mean?
brewery.
Yeah.
They're one of the very best in Phoenix.
Yeah, we
in
need to do Highway
Arizona.
Vacay again. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we
don't
do.
even get me going.
No,
They're world class. They're world class people, and they make great beer. So
enough said.
So you
Yeah.
say, as far as Arizona is concerned,
I think-
they're pointed
I
in the
think-
right direction.
I think
for
Red
West
House-
Absolutely,
Coast.
yeah.
Okay.
As
No,
far as
everybody-
people
yeah.
who care about creative beer, dude, as far as Ren House, I mean, I can't imagine a better place to get hooked up
But
with.
yeah, going back to what I was saying earlier, like we've got all these universities that people just learn
Right.
how to make West Coast
Right.
IPAs, man. Like,
Yeah.
like
They'll learn-
think about Stone, think about Ballast, think about AleSmith, think about all these ginormous companies now that have in their, like Anthony from Bergen came from Stone, like
Right.
the guys from Epic were at Ballast. I'm pretty sure I'm right about most of these. But like they're
And those are serious breweries they went on to found.
yeah, and they learned in those footsteps, and so they're just kind of making a very similar high quality product with that same, understanding of how to make it, and that makes it super easy to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you
Yeah.
got all these trade schools per se.
Yeah.
But I will. I tell you what.
And I
let's
will-
go inside after
Yeah.
this is wrapped, and we'll actually do some market research and figure that question.
Oh, that's
out.
perfect.
Yeah.
And we'll end it with
John-
that.
Go.
Let's go drink some West Coast.
Yeah,
right, let's do
thanks
this.
a lot, buddy.
Thanks,
Big
sir.
time.
Appreciate it. Thanks
Yeah.
for being on the show.
Yeah.
And we'll be back
That was a
with
good one.
Clayton a little later after we go try some beer. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are at part 3, a rare part 3 on this show.
We're so
this is-
structured now.
Yeah, this is kind of like the after hours because I have a feeling shit's about to get weird in this last segment with our next guest,
Oh, all right.
who is more bearded than all 3 of us combined, I think.
Yeah,
It's
that's
true.
right.
And
it's
it's
true.
I'm usually being the most bearded, but yeah.
I always
yeah,
wonder
you
why
got
I feel
way-
inadequate when I'm
Yeah.
around him.
it's
I try
It's
to
not
go-
a competition.
I try
It's
to go,
just it's nice you guys are showing up to the plate.
yeah. I try to go down
It's nice that we're trying.
instead of out.
Yeah,
Normally.
we got our third special guest, Clayton from the Divided Vine,
yeah,
co-owner with
cheers.
Jeff.
he's-
right?
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
he's
Yes,
the,
cheers,
he's the
boys.
vine in the divided, right?
Nate's way over there. Nate, cheers. No, I'll just, you're
Yeah,
way
yeah,
too
no, that's
far
good.
away.
I got the
No,
guest. No,
By the way, Nate's like lounging back
I
against
have
the
a
wall
chair.
with a fancier chair.
Nate's injured.
Not with
Yeah.
anyone who care. I had shoulder surgery, and this chair
Nate's-
is doing the trick.
Listen, Nate's here.
You guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't had a chance to tell a story. I've been preparing for this podcast for a week because they gave me a bunch of pain meds for this shoulder surgery. Nobody can see me. I'm in a slinglet right now, and they gave me a bunch of pain meds. And I was like, "Honey, I got Pure Project Divided Vine."
You call your doctor
on-
honey?
Yep.
She's the lady who has all the pills. I live with her. She's always there all the time. And, I told her, I was like, I got Divide Divine Peer Project Friday. What we got to do to get me off the Oxy, off where I got to be for the ibuprofen so I can drink. So 2 days ago off the Oxy.
And here we are.
Today off, I haven't had ibuprofen since 8 a.m. And you know what? I'm ready to go. And now I've been here for 4 hours.
In your comfy chair.
And I've been here for 3 hours and had 5 beers and feel friggin' great. So
He did eat food.
yeah, I did have some Chinese. Yeah, honestly, Clayton, I got to tell you, I'm so happy to see that the Divide Divine still looks so good and the tap list is so strong.
Heck yeah.
And it's impressive, dude. I know I am the pump 'em up guy. Yeah, you're not going to hear a lot of negative things from me. But you know what? If I don't have anything positive to say, I just won't say anything.
Yeah.
And
That's
not
perfect.
true.
That's
You
great
know,
marketing.
you know,
yeah.
and-
If Nate has a negative opinion, he just won't be on the show.
He
So if
just
you ever
won't
hear
be
a show where
talking.
Nate's not on it, it's probably because he hates what we're talking about.
or I'm busy.
Yeah, that's true too.
But honestly,
One of the two.
I just think it's so awesome. You guys are in such a great spot. We're outside right now. It's just Divide Divine is awesome, and
thank you.
Mesa Gilbert area here is lucky to have it.
It was
So-
great. I mean, Jeff and I opened it because there was nothing out here before. I mean,
Nope.
there's a plethora now. It's
Yeah, but the quality. I mean, gosh.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you price at the bar.
Yeah.
Right, that's how it works. Is that you kind of come here, right, or go up, but you're not gonna come in lower than that.
Yeah,
No,
Compete.
for sure.
Yeah, you could hope to meet the bar,
Right,
the Divide
right,
Divine,
right.
a place like
Yeah.
the Divide Divine sets. But it's just it's a high bar to meet because not only because the relationships, the tap list, I mean all that stuff. It takes work and time.
Clayton,
and
just sit here and
effort.
take these.
Yeah,
take
Nate's
these-
all
take these-
Nate's in
take these-
fanboy
I'm
mode.
sorry,
So
dude.
we're-
It
I'm
happens.
going to lean back and put my hands behind my head because
I'll ask the real
Puff her
questions.
up, buddy. I'm pulling her.
I mean, listen,
I think it
we're
is.
Wild and Woody. We were like all hanging out. We drank some beers there, and we're like, we need to go somewhere. Let's go. Where we're going, and then we came here. That's literally what we did. We're like,
Yes.
let's drink some Wild and Woody beers, and then we'll come to the Divide Vine
The
and hang out and drink some beers.
people
So,
who like to drink beer and in the beer industry are going to come to a place like this.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that, and we can go on to some more difficult question. But thanks for having us.
of
Yes.
course,
You know what I
happy
mean?
to have you guys.
Thanks for having us.
But you are more of the wine side, right?
That is true.
If not half and half, I mean, gosh, 36 over there of mead and wine.
Yeah, 36 and 36. That was the whole idea.
So
So
rad.
even
So
split.
sick.
But you curate the wine list, right?
I'm
That
the
is-
wine guy, even
you
though I
were-
have all the physical
was
markers
gonna
of
say-
a beer
Yeah.
guy.
But I knew
Tattoos,
you were.
glasses,
listen,
I knew you
a
were.
good beer belly going on. I am the wine guy.
Yeah, I've seen you drink beer out of a wine glass a few times as you're
it's
trying to leave.
they don't call it a wine belly, right? I've never heard that. That's weird.
Yeah, it's a fooder. It's a
I mean,
beer belly and a wine fooder.
it's a wine fooder I got going on down here. So I use that from now on.
I keep adding staves too.
Yeah.
So, how did this concept start? Like, give us the.
Listen, we heard
where
you
did
were
this-
arrested.
Yeah,
And then you.
there was felonies. There was
Yeah.
running from the law. Jeff said a lot of things about you that.
Well, first we had to change our names, so that was first off.
Yeah.
We're not allowed in Canada anymore, obviously. So that running from that, but that's okay to skip out on. But Jeff and I, when I was at the Whining Pigs, I should start there. I started with the Whining Pigs back when Greg. That's a throwback. Some people might know him, some people might not.
Oh, Clayton's going old school. This is
Old
gonna
school.
hit people in their craft beer
Look
nostalgia.
here, kids. We're going to start from the beginning, and you're going to have to listen to every word I say. So 16th Street, Bethany Home. I used to live by there. Started with Greg. I was doing woodwork at the time, and I was looking for an extra job, bar backed, and I just fell in love with the industry. I was always a beer drinker. I wasn't really a wine drinker at that time. And then I started buying the beer, and then I started buying the wine, and just fell in love with wine. So many cool things about it. And then Jeff was selling me beer at the time. And then he said, dude, if you ever want to open up something. And then I just happened to have the opportunity, left the Whining Pigs. We decided to open this up out here.
Ran from the law for a couple years.
There's some wanted posters. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Hiding in ditches, stealing cars, switching license plates.
Living in a van down by the river.
You guys know how it is. It's growing up. It's just that's what you do.
In the 90s, that's what we did.
Listen to Fall Out Boy. That's 2000. So that's but yeah. Jeff and I, we always wanted to open up something. You don't want to make yourself different every time. But too many times people reinvent the wheel, and you're just like, okay, I get it, but like at the same time, provide good stuff. What we hadn't really seen was like you go to a wine bar and it's hushed tones, and you feel like you're like, okay, the wine's good, but the atmosphere isn't necessarily what I'm going for. I've always had a beer drinker. I started with beer. I've always had a beer drinker's mentality, which is like everything should be fun. No matter what we're doing, and we take it seriously and we love our product, but what we're doing, it involves booze.
Right.
This is either distilled or fermented. Like, have fun with it. Wine should not be snobby, and it should not be just for the elites. So we wanted to do an equal representation, 50-50, 36 beers on tap, 36 wines by the glass. And that was the idea. Split it down the middle, and then divide it by, and the name came from there. So it wasn't a beer bar that happens to do wine, or a wine bar that just happens to have some beers.
Right.
When the husband, the wife, and that could go either way. We have it go both ways. The wife drinks beer, the husband drinks wine. There is no
I was
more.
gonna say, I'm sure you see that. Just
There
as
is
much
no
as
more
the
strict
other.
line.
Looking across at Ed.
Yeah. I'm the wine drinking husband.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. But
Ed,
Wait, does this podcast?
yeah.
Ed, what are you drinking? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that looks good. What
Yeah,
is that?
we should before we get into this because we might get lost in the weeds here.
both
I'm
you
drinking
guys-
the Diamond Dust.
That looks good.
Again?
That looks
yeah.
yummy.
It's
Had to go
tasty
back.
beer.
Is it tasty?
You guys have something significantly darker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the sun's going down.
What do you got?
Well,
What do you got, Chris?
I have a special concoction that Clayton made me. 'cause
They
listen,
did
I
not
heard-
make you a sour
I
stout,
heard-
dude.
I heard
God
that he
damn
was
it.
really cool with the concoctions, and he was like, "Yeah, I got you, brother," and he did.
I love a good beer cocktail.
There was no hesitation whatsoever.
So
thank
many
you.
times.
so many people have been like, "I won't mix that." And
I
was
know.
like,
I was just gonna say I'll
"Fuck you."
never call out, but I've been there and they'll be like, and I've seen Chris ask that, and he'll be like,
Yeah.
no, that's fine.
And
No,
I'm like, all right,
no,
well,
I won't.
give me a half pour of that one and a pour
Yeah.
of that one, and
Chris-
I'll fucking do it myself.
Yeah,
I know, like,
right?
what's
And
the
then-
difference?
I have the technology.
Yeah, you can do it.
See, the problem with Chris
jerk.
though is he takes one excellent beer and mixes it with another excellent beer and thinks
mixed two
sour stouts are
Yeah.
great
And then
because
he's
he
got
takes
a medium beer.
yeah. he
No,
gets-
this is an excellent beer. Thank you. This is awesome.
Heck yes.
What are you mixing there then?
So this is the Pure Project, right?
Pure Project Situational Gravity,
Which is what you're drinking pure.
which is what I'm drinking straight
Which
up.
started out
So,
life as a what?
stout.
Stout,
Yeah,
thank
Imperial
you.
Stout, 11.5%.
Okay, and
Coffee
then-
and vanilla beans.
Coffee and vanilla beans, yeah.
Ooh, okay, I like that. I would
And
like
then
that. I would
mixed-
like that by itself, but go ahead.
Mixed with Distill from Normal, Illinois. That is their Rochier. That is their
Ooh,
blonde
red.
blonde
It's
sour.
a blonde sour.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
aged in red
Fancy.
and wine barrels.
Dang.
Yes, raspberries.
By themselves, they sound great, dude.
Listen, I got
by themselves, they sound like stunners, dude.
I got a microphone you can talk into, a backup microphone right there, and then one for you over here.
Go
I'm
ahead,
sure you can be
dude.
jumping into that.
Let's do it.
My analogy is, the Thundercats are great on their own, but I
Yeah,
mean,
dude, come on, Voltron, Thundercats.
yeah, until
Power
you make
Rangers,
the
if you're
beast.
younger, I guess. I don't know. Listen,
I think it's fun. Like,
yeah.
No,
good,
I agree.
good. Listen,
I love the rib, Chris.
it's more,
but,
yeah, it's just giving me a hard time.
But
listen, we were a
that-
dark
that-
sky, and
first of all, it
Ryan was
sounds
like,
an
listen,
astounding
beer
mix.
should be fine. Beer should be fun.
Yeah.
And why would you not do that?
Right.
He
Because
is one of
I
our
literally
favorite
I
people.
mixed their anniversary stout with a sour they
Yeah.
had, and I was like, he's like, you should do that.
Oh,
you should
yeah.
totally do that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to. You're not stopping me, but
That's-
saying.
they're good people over
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Dark Sky.
Love it.
So no, yeah. And are we doing the rapid round?
Yeah,
the
we're
third
gonna-
you
time?
guys have completely derailed this whole
We're doing
show.
a rapid round the third. Well, let's
get
get
9 beers
rolling.
in us and then what
There's
happens?
stuff to talk about.
I never thought I would be the one to bring us back to neutral on this
First,
show.
here I am. First question. You know what?
Nope, we're not even doing that. We're still in the history.
No.
So
Based on the history. Okay.
yeah. So how do you get from an idea to a location in Gilbert, Arizona?
So
Like, were you raised on a farm out here? Like,
Were you raised on a farm?
it just so happens this is directly in between where I used to live and where Jeff still lives. So it was
Okay.
we were looking in that area, close to him, close to me, and in between. This came available. We liked the layouts. Pricing was great. And these guys are great here. And that's how we picked this spot. And there was nothing here. So I like going to communities where there needs to be something, and that's. You're filling that need, and that's exactly. We're part of the community here.
Yeah.
It's not a place where we're running people through. We don't know your names, all that stuff. Everyone knows your name. It's a piece of Cheers, not
Yeah.
the exact thing, but everyone says that constantly. So
yeah, I will say this. Like, this probably has one of the best regular rotation
yeah,
in the valley.
right.
Like, you can come in at any given time and you'll see the regulars that are that have
yeah.
their spots and their times that they come in.
Oh yeah.
I won't say
that's
I'm
called the
one of
time.
them, but I'm probably one of them.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of Sunday afternoons I've spent sitting down in here. It's like you with Trevor's, Chris.
Yeah, that's how it's about. But listen, it's close.
vicinity is a huge part of it.
Huge thing of it.
Yeah.
it's hard to pass up, like, 2 or 3 good places to go to another place because you're not there, right? That's how it works.
Oh yeah, I mean,
And
you travel.
I gotta drive back. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, a couple of blocks is a big deal, but I gotta drive across town. Might be a little tougher. A couple of beers.
Exactly.
How did it start? Did you start buying beer first, wine first? Did you kind of wing it? Like, what was the concept when you opened the door?
We definitely thought beer was going to be more of the thing. So, like, even though we were focused on doing both well, we initially, and at that point, beer was scorching hot. I mean, it was the thing. So we knew beer was going to be a bigger thing. As the years have gone on, it goes back and forth, 60-40, 70-30. You really never know what's going to be. Right now, wine is more dominant right now, but again, the market is all over the place. You never know what's going to happen. And
Fucking snowbirds.
even though beer is on a down, beer and wine are both down technically, according to markets, but it's always going to change. It's always going to be manipulated. Things are always going to shift.
Like, I feel like, I mean, as a craft beer drinker for a long time at this point, like, I have more appreciation for wine in general. Like, at this point, like, because people are like, wine drinkers, and they, you're like, it was very pretentious to get into wine, and very like not approachable to be into a wine thing.
For
like,
sure.
I just buy whatever I wanted, and now they actually drink more craft beer. I'm like, there's things I like about the flavor of this and stuff like that, and so I think that. And if I can go to a place like this, I was like you said, that's going to be like a little more balance between the two.
Right.
I can kind of cross over. I mean, like that. My foot is just kind of going over that line a little bit more. Each time I come into a place like this, where I can actually explore my palate more and actually enjoy one of those things, I know what I like, right? So
the best benefit for a craft beer drinker drinking wine is you have an instant addition to your vocabulary that you didn't have before for beer. So you're going to learn all new words to describe things, and then you can take that into beer and apply those same things. You're learning new colors in your crayon box. Like when I teach classes, I always say, like,
nice.
You think that these sommeliers or people that are wine experts have superpowers. They don't. They've just been playing with crayons longer than you have, and they know the colors of these crayons that are in their box, and you don't necessarily know what that is. So, like, when you taste something, that's someone telling you that's purple. So when you were a child, you had no idea what purple was. Someone's told you that it's purple. Now you know what purple is.
Right.
And all you're doing is, you're closing those synapses in your brain and connect that with your olfactory bulb, and now you have more crayons to play with in your crayon box.
Man, and so that's something that we might at some point need to do, or something we laugh about all the time, but like, I mean, we need to expand our vocabulary a little bit.
Yeah, we always joke about having an adjective book of describing beers,
we
but it
should.
does help you.
It does. What was the word we learned earlier last couple weeks ago?
Oh, the God dang it!
It was like smelly and something to combine.
Smelly and
Smelly.
something combined.
It was like when it was something like it smelled really good.
Yeah.
But it's like somebody wearing too much perfume and they had a weird BO underneath them.
Oh, like undertones.
Yeah. But it was like there was a word for it. And if you Googled it, it was the first thing was Urban Dictionary, which is not a great description of what it should have been. But
But it wasn't an article describing beer.
Yeah.
That's-
We're like, what is this word? That's crazy. and then we already forgot it at this point. So
I'll look it up.
yeah,
at
I'll find it.
some
But it was
point
just
in
like
here.
when I was like, I can kind of I get that.
Yeah.
But
Right, you just two different dictionaries too. There's
Right.
the one where you're evaluating on your own,
Yeah.
and then there's the dictionary that you use with customers, which is those are all positive adjectives. You don't use negative adjectives.
So like, yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because like,
You need to flip everything. So if
Yeah.
a wine is more reduced or tasting more vintage or different things like that, you say
well,
you say rustic.
You just said
rustic.
vintage.
Yeah.
It tasted more vintage.
Vintage,
That to me
rustic.
alone is like I'm in.
Right.
I like vintage. Like that sounds
You
so
need
much
to-
better
Yeah.
than being like it's just like this is like a vinegar.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Like, that's not a great.
Well, vinegar we wouldn't even pour it, but like
right, but like a more. I mean, to me in my mind, that's why I'm like it's gonna be more. In that range, it's like aged and has more of that robust flavor to it.
Exactly.
But like you're like, oh, that's not necessarily. I wouldn't say it that way.
Right. Because if you stop someone with a negative,
Yeah.
then they're not going to even try it. And it
Right.
might be for them, but you just need to get it in their mouths and like let them try it, and
Makes
then
sense.
and then take the no if it's take the loss when you have to. But
So what was the oh shit moment when you opened this place? Like when you first opened the door,
man.
nobody walked in, or like signing the lease?
Okay.
Like when did
it
you?
get real?
I mean,
when did you have to-
obviously you open a business. There's slow days, and every slow day you have, you're like, it's over. That's it. I'm
That's
totally
it.
screwed. I signed a
I'm
lease for
done.
5 years. What are we gonna sell out here? You want to sell like teddy bears or something? Like, Let's sell the liquor license. We're done.
I heard Make a Bear's available.
Yeah.
Build-A-Bear.
No, Make a Bear.
Divine beer, wine, and Build-A-Bear.
Yeah.
I hear pottery, painting, and/or wine tasting is a really good venue.
Yeah.
Too.
It would, and you know what? That would actually do really well.
It probably is. Damn it.
But actually, the oh shit moment was like our grease trap. That's the funniest part. Is like our grease trap had to run because the city. We had to run it through the center of the bar, and it stunk. Like it was literally emitting. So we had I was working on this weeks trying to figure this out. Finally found the solution. So literally the oh shit moment had to do with shit, which is horrible.
Yeah. It's horrible. It's a very on the nose.
I mean, it's a beer and wine place. It's all about smells, and you have this coming through. So we figured that out. Luckily, we got through that. But oh shit was. I mean, the bank accounts were empty. Like we opened the doors and we had nothing. Jeff and I put our life savings into this. So. You know, we have no debt on it, which is awesome. But that was it. This has to work.
That's amazing. And it's so funny. I talk to people, because I tell people we do the podcast, and one of the things I tell everybody is listen, the best thing to hear is people's stories and how they came up with things and how they got to the point where they're at.
Yeah.
And it is amazing to hear people's stories of where they got to and when they opened the doors and that situation that you were in with listen. I mean, we talked to Wilderness. We talked to Chase at Wilderness, and he was like, they borrowed money from Santan to put in the register because they had $0.
That was so close. Yeah.
That's
skin of their teeth,
Patrick
man.
rode his bike to Santan to borrow money to put in the register, and you're like, that's amazing. That's so amazing that people do that. I don't know.
And you could go into Wilderness on an opening night, and it was dead.
Yeah. Oh, there was so many Sundays we were in there, and there was nobody in there. We got yelled at for being loud, and you're like, there's nobody in here. We're only us.
Had dinner. There's dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
But you're it's just
different now.
just an amazing story to people
Yep.
the people's perseverance to be listen, day one is not going to be golden. We can't. It always can't be golden.
Well,
but day two's gonna be great.
That's the funniest part of it. When you're doing those soft openings, your friends, your family, people who have invested in you financially or emotionally are there because they're like, you're not living with me, so make this work.
Yeah.
So then you have industry night, and that's great. And then
We're
you have
gonna see this through.
Yeah. Listen, I went to an art school, and I'm used to all my family being like, "This is an amazing drawing," and I'm like, "No, it's not. This is awful. Why are you saying that?" I know the feeling that. Listen, I know you're trying to support me, so I can keep going and keep doing stuff. So thank you for that. But listen, this is garbage. I'm just telling you right now, I know it's garbage, but
and I know what garbage is.
Yeah.
What do you know?
I'm trained now. I know what garbage is.
You just let me pay way too much money to go to school to know this is not good art. So you're welcome.
That takes another minute too to accept that. When people give you compliments, you're in the beginning, you're like,
it's
too
hard.
You're wrong.
It's too hard.
We're trying, but
it's listen.
Yeah.
Constant life struggle. They tries to compliment all the time. I won't take it.
Yeah. Right.
So when you open with a full 30? At that time, was it 31?
So we actually opened full 36 taps. I only had 18 wines on the board. So
I got some.
Like I said, the bank accounts were empty, and we had to sacrifice somewhere. And because of draft and all that, we had to have those taps filled. That had to happen. Yeah. So I was like, "There's only one place I see where we can cut. We'll start the wine list small, get money in. I'll start filling things up." And so we started small, and obviously now it's
because let's be honest, when you go into a place like this, you don't really expect an extensive wine list. You expect a cab, maybe a Pinot, a red blend, and then a single white.
For sure.
9 out of 10 times, you get 1 or 2 choices for a white.
Yeah.
And then maybe 3 or 4
They've got
reds.
their basic 12 covered,
Right.
And then,
So basically, 18 was probably an extensive wine list for the area at the time.
Yes. It was,
Outside of a proper wine bar that just
can't
focuses
remember
on wine.
I can't remember the first time I ever came here, but it was early on because I only lived 3 miles down the road at the time.
Yeah.
And I was jazzed, man. It was just this is exciting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start.
Wine's a little different in I had to learn the community, whereas beer,
Yeah.
You know, us beer nerds, we're a pretty consistent bunch across.
You knew what to do to make us
right,
happy
exactly.
at that time.
So we had a great idea of what was going to work and what wasn't beer wise.
And I wouldn't
Wine
know
is
shit if I had seen a good wine list or not. I'd be like, "That's sweet, dude. That's a lot of wine."
Hey, wait. Is 03, 02? Was it odd years or good even years? I don't know.
This is you put several bottles together here. This is good.
Listen, as a non-draft, look at
Yeah, you're like, none of this came out of a box. This is great. This is
I guess that's
fantastic.
my question. Is
Good for you, dude.
I don't know. To me, I know draft lines for beer, right? Like CO2 pushes the beer out. How does that happen? Is that CO2 with wine?
It's nitrogen. No, it's
Nitrogen.
same with thing.
Okay.
Same thing with the Guinness nitro
yeah,
beers.
nitro.
Yeah,
So
Chris
you
loves
go
Guinness.
75 nitro, 25 CO2. Same thing.
Okay.
Pushes it that way. Yeah.
Dude, another
I
fly.
always wondered that because I was like, I didn't know, because I'm like, that seems like a lot of. You wouldn't want that much CO2 in your wine.
No.
Right? You
No,
want to be
no.
carbonated wine. It's a sparkling beverage at that point,
No,
right?
you want as much inert gas as possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sparkling
Right. So
wine.
like argon is what is the best to use because
Okay.
that's completely inert gas. Does nothing to the wine whatsoever. So
Okay.
we used to have draft wine here, and it just there's a perception about draft wine, which is
Yeah,
like
right. It's like boxed wine or the canned wine.
It's exactly like boxed wine.
Oh, really?
Except for it's aluminum or plastic and not a bag in a box. That's the only difference.
yeah, but like
As a non-wine drinker, that's stupid.
See, but like
But wine has
But
come
we're-
so far because I remember when people lost their shit over synthetic corks.
Let me
Oh,
guess.
Like
yeah.
when people started using synthetic corks,
like,
like
for
this
sure.
isn't wine. This is fucking
So
bullshit.
Is it hard to hold authenticity when it's not coming out of a bottle?
it's the perception. Like
Perception
like,
the perception of authenticity.
wine is so much perception. It's not
Yeah,
even
because
funny.
I think that's dumb,
I think
dude.
from a beer drinker standpoint, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
If I
think
do
as
a
beer,
winery, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
like that's the thing. As a beer person, I'm like, listen, the best vessel to keep my wine as fresh as possible.
Yeah,
to get
keg
to be,
that shit.
that be
Keg
as,
it. Let's
to be
go.
as close
Right.
as what that person wants to taste like
Yeah.
to me. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm
let's-
totally fine with
let's-
that.
And every pour is great.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
You open
keg
a
the
bottle,
shit out of that.
you have a timer going off.
Yeah,
That keg,
that's
pour,
crazy to me.
done.
If I was
But
a
it's
wine,
like-
as a new wine guy, I mean, as a wine guy, I wouldn't know any better. I'd be like, oh, in one of my favorite wineries, kegging this shit. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Right?
That's such a beer mentality.
But
Right.
and that's a difference too. It's like we joke about it all the
It
time.
is.
It's like that's a Pilsner glass. Well, no, it's not. It's a lager glass if I want. It's whatever beer I drink out of it.
I know.
But you're right. Wine has a very specific perception of
Yeah.
a wine glass and a bottle, and
Right.
that's how you drink wine, and that's how it's supposed to be delivered, and that's how it's supposed to be presented. And
The big rub with the industry is that so if you put a cheap wine in keg, people are going to go through cheap wine fast in bottles. So that's pointless.
Yeah.
If you put an expensive wine in keg, no one wants to drink out of that keg because they're paying good money for that wine.
Right.
So now you're at a rock and a hard place. What do
No
you do?
shit.
Like,
Interesting.
and it's
Very
the
interesting.
cork. The cork is sexy. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's something about that.
Listen,
That
if I could
Psalm one.
savor-
Everybody watched Psalm.
Savor a bottle
Yeah.
after I go to a
Everybody
place.
watched Psalm, and they
Right.
wanted you to come over. They're like, no, open it like you're supposed to.
Right.
Open it
Yeah.
like that guy on Psalm.
Like, oh man, you opened that bottle of wine like a boss. Because no one gets horny like when you're opening a Stelvin or a screw cap. No, click, like
I mean,
that doesn't wet anybody.
That's
You know,
freaking funny.
listen, barefoot $5 bottle of wine is delicious every time I drink it.
Yeah, I'm not the guy. I mean, I want to be the guy. Like, I really love Page Springs.
yeah.
Like, but I love
Corey does a great job. Up
I
there.
love Page Springs because of the experience of Page Springs.
Yeah.
Like, they make great pizza, they have a wonderful tasting room, and they make great wine on top of that. Like,
right.
On
the
top
vineyard's right there, sitting out back.
it's just a great place to go.
Yeah.
It's just a great place to be. But I'm not. If I wouldn't know enough. I know they make good wine because
Yeah.
I know they make good wine.
Right.
But I
Don't know why. they
yeah,
made it.
yeah,
Well,
pretty
Listen,
much.
I like Stronghold because these guys took me
yeah,
there.
we
And I was
took
like, this is delicious.
on our way to Dark Sky.
Yeah,
we're like,
like-
hey, we're stopping to Stronghold.
And we
Chris was
drank,
like,
we drank a ton of wine. It
what
was
is
delicious.
this? He was like holding the wine glass with two hands.
That's the thing.
I was like, is this the way you
No
do it?
joke.
Dude, put it down. You look like a noob.
Is that how this works?
I'm going to eat this cheese.
Do I drink it like a bowl of porridge?
I have no idea.
Like
Yeah.
a bowl of porridge. No, it's no joke.
Please, sir, another.
When you're a beer guy, you're like, this is good.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you go to a place and it's like, this is fresh. Like, this is or fresh. I say fresh
Right.
because I'm a beer guy. I say fresh. But like when it's just the way it's supposed to be at a winery, it's just as good as a fresh beer. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, oh, this is fucking good.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
Damn, this is good. And so I very quickly, a beer guy becomes a wine guy sometimes. It happens all the time because you're like, oh, that's what good wine's like. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah, it's not a price point. Like you can have a $12 bottle of wine that's fucking amazing and a $60 bottle of
100%.
wine that's just garbage.
Yeah,
100%.
Like price means nothing for wine.
So
Yeah.
coming from beer into more of the wine space, was there like a space where you felt kind of like a little imposter syndrome where you're like, I don't really...
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
And it still happens constantly.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of one of those things where you learn a lot about something and then you open up a new door and then you realize there's another whole empty room that you need to fill again. So like every time you step into a new room and you're like, there's so much I don't know.
You're like, it's a gymnasium
Yeah.
here. This is weird as that goes.
So I hate it when people say it. They always like I'm hanging out with someone. They're like, "Oh, this guy knows everything about wine," and I'm
that's
like,
the worst.
"A, I do not, and B, always a student, never a master."
A, I do not.
Like, and
I do
shut
not.
up! Don't.
Yeah.
You're like,
Dude.
I might not know anything about what they're going to talk about.
Right. Like, listen, again, talking about compliments earlier, like, it's hard to take compliments in general. But,
Right.
Like, there's certain ones you're like, thank you. But that one, you're like, oh, like, you should talk to this guy. He knows a lot about craft beer. And I'm like, listen, no,
Yeah,
I
right.
don't. I'm very opinionated about craft beer.
Yes,
But I don't know a lot about craft beer comparatively to a lot of people.
So
That's how it works.
we've heard a lot of versions of the same story, not to take away from any significance of it, but
Yeah.
in the beer industry, it's all about relationships with distributors and
100%.
like obviously you had a relationship with Jeff. That's how you guys came to be this entity.
Yeah.
What was it like trying to create a craft beer list versus a wine list? Like, because you had to start from scratch, right, with those relationships?
100%, yeah. Especially in Arizona, like, getting out there and just like tasting everything in Arizona, that was something I wanted to do. That was difficult, right? And I love Arizona wine. And I think Arizona wine has a more fun, not more fun, it's more interesting to me about how our terroir comes through and how it's a sense of place compared to everything else. Arizona wine, you can kind of pick it out. When you drink it, it's like walking down a dusty trail in Sedona, and you got some of that red dirt kicking up. And it's coming through the nostrils, and it just makes you fall in love with it. Either love it or you hate it. And I want to push everyone to get Arizona wine as often as I can. But building those relationships, it took time. Like Greg Gonerman, Laramida Cellars, he works with Dos Cabezas, owns his own land down in Sonoita, but he came in and he was like, hey, I'm a small winemaker. I just want to try on my wines. And I was blown away instantly by his wines. And it just so happened that he lives right behind us. Like, that's something that just falls in your lap. So sometimes it's going out, sometimes it's shaking hands, kissing babies. Sometimes it just kind of happens
Or
for
shaking
you.
babies and
Love
kissing
to
hands.
kiss babies.
So,
With the wine industry, though, it's a lot of like, come taste me and then buy. So like it is. Whereas the beer game has kind of gone away from like play the game to get our good stuff, the wine industry is still very much in that sense. So
And
like,
that'll probably never change in wine, right? Because there's
No.
reputations. There's
it's just is what it is.
100-year-old reputations that have to
the
be
IPO is insane in that.
stroked, right? You have
Right.
those egos are never going to go away.
It's so different than the free stuff you get too. Like such a cool microcosm. But like beer, you give away stickers, hats, shirts,
Right.
koozies, that stuff. Wine, you do not get that stuff. But they say, hey, buy our stuff, come out, stay at our little cottage. So it's more focused on the buyer, less on the customer. Whereas beer is more focused on the giving away stuff to the customer and less the buyer.
So it's more the material.
Says the guy
aspect
with the
versus-
Pure Project hat on.
That's a pretty fresh looking
And
hat,
underwear, you
man.
guys just can't see it.
Well, I'm sure it's the material aspect of it versus the experience of it, right? Like wine's a
Exactly.
lot about experience and how you do things.
Well, it's all about anecdotes, so like
Right.
passing that along. So they want you to come out, they want you to see the vineyard, and they want you to pass that along to your customers. Tell them how great it was, and then they're buying. Yeah, it's
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
if so straddling the beer and wine world, if we were to I'm sure people come here all the time and ask this. So I come in and I say, hey, I'm a big fan of West Coast IPAs, or hey, I'm a big fan of lagers, or hey, I'm a big fan of Hefeweizens.
Mm-hmm.
What wines should I drink comparatively to
If you like West Coast IPA, you should go Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
First off, so you got great
Oh.
bitterness.
Whoa, good question, dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just,
Nate is blown away right now.
Wow,
just,
dude,
it's
good
just, I'm like, listen,
question.
I
I have answers to all
I
these.
straddle, and I imagine, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you're the best person to answer this because
question,
people
dude.
either start that side or they start this side and they don't really.
We've been doing
Go
this for
over
a
it,
while.
right.
Sometimes we show up, sometimes we don't. That was a good question.
I just googled ChatGPT real quick. It told me, so it's fine.
You're like, I'm a beer guy.
He's
What
been
do I-
listening this whole time, and then I just.
I'm a beer guy. What the fuck do I ask a wine guy?
No, that's I mean, that's my. I mean,
Right.
I
No,
really
that's a
want to
good
know
question.
that. I want to know.
So
Like,
as a West Coast IPA guy, you recommend a 7?
Yeah. So Sauvignon Blanc. So
Okay.
you,
Okay.
you have the bitterness there. You have citrus notes, and then similar fruity notes that you would get from certain West Coast. So if you have a lager drinker, you go Pinot Grigio. You go maybe Pinot Noir if they want to go red. That's on the lighter side, less tannin, sometimes
Damn.
lower acid, sometimes bigger acid, but easy drinking. So for sure, Pinot Grigio and the Pinots in general are just easy drinking.
Okay.
What was the next one? Hefeweizen.
Like half a
Or like
Weizen,
or even like a,
stout.
or
Like, it
even like
doesn't
a
really- I mean,
Pilsner.
Yeah, Hefeweizen, I would go orange wine. So
Okay.
orange wine is longer skin contact, and you get orange peels, you get florality, you get like bouquets of different clove.
Okay.
So like you're hitting that right away, and good mouthfeel too, which those Hefeweizen drinkers want. You know, nice robust mouthfeel. Stout wise, you're going big. Like I would go Italian. Anything deep and rich, Sangiovese, Cab Franc.
A red, though.
Yeah, I would go
Okay.
red.
Red.
I mean, stout drinkers. You
Is
know,
it-
we want that. You want the punch.
You're not gonna get
like,
that body in a white.
I was
You know,
going to
it's
say,
just-
yeah.
Dude, I
you know.
love.
Is there anything for the crispy boys?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, lagers, pilsners, Pinot Grigio. That's
Okay.
where you go.
Champagne.
So,
This is
oh, dude,
Bro,
good
this
call.
is,
I
this
didn't
is
think
one of the
that.
first fucking times I've ever learned anything on our podcast. Like I've learned, but like when you've been to a brewery, you learn,
Yeah.
but then you've been to a lot of breweries, you learn. It's one of the first times in a while I've learned anything on our podcast.
Nate's gonna go order a wine right now.
It's awesome, dude.
got
That's
you, bro.
good info,
That's awesome,
dude.
bro.
That's really great info.
No, that's
Clayton.
awesome.
Yeah.
Great
So
question.
we really didn't do a rapid round with you, but what
Yeah, we should.
what changed you from a
Give
beer
some
boy to a
highlights, yeah.
wine boy? Like what was the wine where you're like, holy shit, I need to get into wine?
It
Nice
was definitely
variation.
anecdotally, like for sure. Like wine touches everything, and beer does too, but in a different way. So you have countries that they protect their wines so much because it represents their country. So you're talking politics, you're talking agriculture, geology, finance. Finance is huge. In Bordeaux, like they literally have. It's a sale every year.
Well, that fucking
Selling
DOC
futures.
sticker is
Selling
so important
futures.
to some
Yeah.
people.
It's absolutely crazy. There's nothing in
What's a
life
D-
that
what-
you
what's a
do that
DOC
isn't touched
sticker?
by. AOC
AOC.
by the AOP is how France designates their cruise, their Grand Cruise. Like
Okay.
what's
Oh,
the
okay,
best?
okay. Not a
It
wine
hasn't changed
guy.
a lot since '86, but
Not a wine guy. Needed to know.
Which I learned was it Sardinian wine? Doesn't have that. Is it Sardinian wine? Sorry, it's
Yeah,
red.
right.
It doesn't have that because it's a Grenache grape that's actually they think it's originated in France that actually they grew in Sardinia.
Oh,
I watched the whole show about this. It was really good. Which I bought a bottle of it and it was delicious red wine and I loved it. So there we go.
yeah, that's the fun part. It's fun to learn,
Yeah.
but you don't need to know anything. That's one thing I want to. I always preach is like wine has a stigma where it's like if I'm not educated on this, I can't enjoy it, and that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What do you know about goes into your vodka? Like it makes no sense. Like beer, we enjoy like knowing about it, but like at the same time, like wine, they feel like I don't know anything. How am I going to enjoy this? No. You need to know thumbs up, thumbs down. That's what you need to know.
And I think that like craft beer people like that, it's a very easy transition if you just go over that little quick thing, right? Because
Right.
we are definitely about enjoying beer, enjoying flavors,
Yeah.
Those kind of things. And I think that makes it easier to get in that stuff where somebody else may not come from that. Like you said, like I'm like, I don't know anything about it, but I'm going to try some.
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
Well, it's like when they come, like
I
when
don't-
you talk about hops, and it's more extensive in the wine palette, but it's like when you talk about hops, it's like, oh, you get melon, you get this, and you get that.
Right.
And I went to a wine tasting one time where they had a bunch of different dirt, bunch of different fruits, chocolates, all sorts of fruits and stuff like that. And they're like, taste the wine, taste this, or smell this, or whatever.
this dirt.
And they're like, none of this shit is in this wine. So whatever you taste is your palate.
It's
Like
not there.
it's not the same for everybody. It's like
Exactly.
you taste chocolate, you taste fudge, you like none of that shit is in the wine. Like
Right.
beer's a little bit different because they do put fruit and stuff like that in there. But
Yeah.
the hops, it's a hop.
Yeah.
if you get passion fruit or if you get grapefruit out of it, like that's your palate. And
Exactly.
it's like, I think that's one shift that wine's made.
Totally
is,
objective.
yeah, it's like, well, yeah, I don't taste what you taste. And
Yeah, of
it's
course
gonna
you
be
don't.
you're gonna like what you like.
We're different people, and we ate different stuff today. And I don't know how much water you've had, but it's different than how much water
Right.
I've had. Everything plays a key in it. Like,
Well, and that's like, we talk about this all the time. Like, I think that the last 2 years, we stopped. Like, I use Untapped to track my beers, but I don't keep Untapped to like rate my beers anymore. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's more of a journal for me what I have done, just because. Yeah, what's like your 5 versus my? What does that mean?
right.
That doesn't make any
and
sense
your
to me.
1 star because you don't like Hefeweizens is
dude.
not helping anybody.
I can't
those rings.
stand
Oh my
that,
God,
dude.
the worst. I'm not a
Not
big IPA fan. Figure out, try it.
Yeah.
Don't like it. You're like, oh, big surprise, dude.
Right.
This tastes like a flower. 1 star.
Like,
I hate you.
yeah,
Just so you know, one.
Still a big thumbs down for
Yeah,
me.
I hate you out
So,
there,
I mean,
wherever you are.
Like, yeah, the what I like or what I enjoy does not equate to what you enjoy. It just
Right.
doesn't make any sense to me. So
I always say, people are like, oh, I just don't really like it. I'm like, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason that we have 36 and 36
Right.
is
Yeah.
like because we're all different people.
Heads up, there's 72 options here. Ooh, if you
Might
can't
like one of
find
these.
one at 72, you might be the problem.
Right.
well, that's, we joke about all the time.
And
like,
that
I'm
doesn't
not-
even count your. I'm sorry, but that doesn't even count the fridge full of beer.
yeah, right. Giant
I'm
cooler
just
full of
saying,
beer.
like,
Right.
you may be the problem.
Yeah.
Not a
The calls are
huge-
coming from inside the house.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
I'm not a big Saison or Farmhouse Ale, but
Yeah.
I keep trying them just because
Yeah.
there's gonna be one I like.
Because you know,
I want
because
Saisons to catch on so bad. I really
Yeah, there
do.
you go. Yeah, there you go.
I'm a Saison boy.
But like, that's the thing is that like there's gonna be one that I do enjoy, that I do like. And
For
I'm just gonna
sure.
keep trying them just because you never know.
I'm sorry to
why
throw-
why I always say no if you could try it, and you know what?
My per
might be
episode
good.
name drop,
Right.
but you know John Rowley, and he's made beers you like that. You
Yeah,
know what I
well,
mean?
Yeah, it's fine. Fuck the.
I'm just
All right.
saying. Oh, you said
Oh, he brought it in.
Oh.
No, he dropped.
are in quite a winning streak.
No, they're
dude.
not. Fuck you.
What's the timestamp, Ed? What's the timestamp?
Way too late.
All right. Anyway, Clayton, it's been an absolutely excellent podcast. But thanks for having us out, dude.
Of
and
course.
just really appreciate the spot you guys have put together because, I mean, every table around us is full.
Dude, it's
every
awesome.
table around us is full, and that's because inside is full, and that's because you guys do one hell of a job.
Yeah.
there.
Thank
So-
you.
Thank
I
you.
But
appreciate
and
it.
this is going to be promo heavy, but
Yeah.
this isn't industry knowledge. This isn't specific podcast knowledge. If you want to learn everything that Clayton is talking about, every Thursday you do wine tastings, right?
Every Thursday we do wine tasting from 5 to 7. You come in, we're doing a different
Nice.
region, different styles, highlighting something about wine that is cool and interesting. They're so much fun. Generally, they're somewhere between 10 to sometimes they're 20, but most of the time it's between like 10 and $15. But it's
That's
such a good
awesome.
time, and it's 3 4-ounce or 4 3-ounce pours of wine. So you get 2 full glasses for that price, and we're going to tell you anecdotes about the winery, anecdotes about the wine, and help you just it's your wine journey. You take it on your own, and we're just trying to help with that.
I mean, listen.
That's
And if you
sick.
buy bottles, you get a raffle,
Buy
right?
bottles, we do a raffle at the end. So people that participate, we gave away 6 bottles last night.
So sick.
Awesome tasting. 67 tasters here, and man, it was a good time.
Listen,
Bunch of class acts here.
I've told multiple people this in general about like craft beer like festivals and stuff like that,
Right.
like tastings and stuff. It is your best bang for your buck. Like you try to go to the
100%.
store and buy that many bottles of wine or buy that many bottles
Oh,
of
yeah.
beer.
No.
You're
Good
never
luck.
going to do it. You're going to go to the
Good
store and be
luck
like,
trying.
no, I'm getting my same old.
Right.
Come to a tasting, come to a festival.
Yeah.
You're going to figure out what
Come
you
to a
like. You're
place
going to
like
figure out
this.
what you like. And
Yeah.
you're going to have somebody help
Come
steer
to a
you
place like this in
where you need to be.
general, and they will
So,
give
yeah.
you a ride around the world of wine.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I've been here before, and you're like, you like wine? You're like, wherever you got to go, dude. It's like, I'm here for a beer, but I can tell by the look on Clayton's face,
Right.
like he's got the
He wants
passion.
it.
Oh, my
He's got
God.
the passion.
I'll get
dude.
you- I'll get you
He
so
will take
good.
me wherever. You,
I've snagged so many
You-
beer drinkers and brought them over to the dark side. What I call the dark side now.
I can tell, dude, because you will take me where I need to go, and it's just obvious by the look and the passion you guys have. So just
Heck yeah.
But
Thanks,
do you
man.
get the reverse of that?
Appreciate
Like,
that.
do you have people come in for the wine tasting and then you come up to talk to them about
Oh,
the wine?
yes.
And they're like, what the fuck is who is this? What,
they
like,
left
I walk
drinking
up to every
beer, they're like,
table
I
when there's
hate
a wine tasting. I say, "You're here for the wine tasting, right?" And they go, "I didn't even the wine tasting." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna do it, right?" And they're like, I guess.
They're like, why
and they're like, oh my
I
God, that
am
was
now.
awesome.
They're like, why aren't you wearing a tuxedo? I should be, you should be in a tuxedo.
Where are your tails?
Yeah,
That's funny.
that seems weird. All right, yeah, I guess I'm here for that.
You know, I would like that actually.
And speaking to what Nate talked about, the passion, I've been here several times where I've come in and Clayton's leaving, and then an hour and a half later, he's still here. Because
Oh, dude, give me a hug. I'm headed out the door. And then,
he is a resident hugger, and then he runs into somebody else, and he will sit and have a full blown conversation with you.
Someone's like,
when he
you're
was
not gonna-
supposed
you're
to
not
be
gonna have
home
a beer
like
with me?
45 minutes ago.
and I'm like, oh, dude, don't give me the puppy
Don't
dog,
do
guys.
that. Don't
All
do
right.
that.
That's awesome. All right, man. Well,
Speaking of which, Clayton just got a hug.
Yeah, that's happened
Adam.
multiple times. And Jeff and Adam both get random hugs and just a little kiss on the cheek, dude, because they are class acts, dude.
All right.
But to finish up, if people want to find out events like this that happened tonight with Pure Project taking over,
Yes.
A podcast coming and taking up valuable retail space, where can they
Yeah,
go
we're
to
gonna clear
find
out.
So obviously,
things about Divided Vine?
Facebook, Instagram, that's,
That's where to
the
follow
Divided
you.
Vine, Divided Vine, and then our website as well. All the events are on there. If you don't mess around with social media, we don't exclude anybody who doesn't do social media. I get it. It's not for everybody, mental health and stuff. But dividedvine.com. Go on there. All of the events are on there as well. So, yeah, come down and see us. And you'll have a good time. And become part of the
Agreed.
family. That's just what we do here. It's a place to come together. It's on the door.
That's awesome. I love it.
Nate, where can people find us?
You can find us at Hoppy Craftsman on Instagram, or is it the Hoppy Craftsman?
Hobby Craftsman.
It's at Hoppy Craftsman on Instagram.
You should check it out. You should go.
I've fucking been there. I posted on there today. Kiss my ass, Ed. At hobbycraftsman.beer.
Yeah, we have a .beer
Yeah,
website.
dude, heads up. That's a
Oh.
We're really
possibility.
cool. All the
Dude,
cool
that's
kids do.
legit.
Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
And by cool kids, we mean us in the shop. I think that's.
I mean, that's a good realm of people to be cool in. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know what your measure of cool is, but man,
Yeah, and
Our
I'm
bar-
impressed.
Our bar is low. Our bar
I'm
is low.
impressed. I think this is the peak of our existence. We thought it was Wren House, but I think it's Pure Project and Divided Vine. I think it's all down here from here, boys.
Dude, if you start crying, I'm going to start crying, all right?
Yeah. If you hurl, I'm gonna hurl. If you blow chunks,
Wow, Ed is really
if you're gonna
enjoying
blow chunks
himself.
into this.
yeah, right.
If you're gonna spew into this.
People can find us there. If you want to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Patreon.com/Hobby Craftsman. Chris, we have Patreon supporters. Who are they?
Those people are the rest fucking people in the world. Those are Riley Greenbaum, Zach Dominguez, Rob Fulmer, Jeff Johnson, and Terrence Hollows. Those are our patron supporters. They actually help pay for some of the equipment you see on the table today.
Yeah, and it
Awesome.
allows us to do stuff like this and have a lot of fun and drink beer with great people. And
Heck yeah.
We definitely have some levels available to people to pledge for. Really comes down to
we've got some tiers.
the lowest level is basically buy us a beer every month.
Heck yeah.
If you think of it that way, it's just basically buying one of us a beer every month. So not a huge deal.
We should give them the option of who they want to buy the beer for.
That's true. We should do that. That's
Just
good.
so
oh yeah, we should
That
separate
is
tiers.
fucking funny.
Buy a beer for Nate, buy a beer for Chris, and buy a beer for Ed.
Popularity contest.
That's
That's how
right.
friendships end,
Competition we
guys.
I don't know if I'm going to handle that.
That
But
might actually make me upset. Never mind.
yeah, we should do that. Buy us,
Thanks again,
the Royal
Clayton.
We.
Seriously.
You guys are welcome. And hey, Divided Vine family, come out. Patreon. Support these guys.
Fucking A.
Thanks, everybody.
Hell yeah. Cheers.
Hey, yeah. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.